go.
Live, folks. Couple of technical difficulties getting off the ground there. Welcome to RGR Football. This is going to be a fun stream. Gary McKenzie's with me right now. Dan Harms will be here later. A whole slew. We're going to try to get some guests. I think Matt Derrick will join us. Chris Clark will be on later. The game has begun. We did miss a couple of plays there just because of our tech issues. Had some audio problems, but welcome. This is going to be a fun one. Sync is going to be always be an issue here, but it is 14:03:02:01. Gary, I don't know if you're synced with me or not.
Let's see. I can't see the time on the game yet, but I'm blurry. So you're not inebriated. I'm just blurry.
That's all right. And folks, this is a casual watch here as it's what is it, 2nd and 5 here for Herbert. I'm going to be cracking some and enjoy this ball game. And I'm just kind of pacing. Oh, and Eckler into the end zone for the first 6. Now, Gary, I don't remember. Did you predict this ball game?
Yeah, I picked the Jaguars, but that prediction's not looking so hot right now. And you're about a play ahead of me, so I'll live with it, but just for your notes. And I'm trying to figure out what's going on with my camera. Why am I so blurry?
Your hand looks great, though.
Yeah, it's got the focus is not good. I'll get it sorted out.
Yeah, it'll come along. And we'll have enough faces on here. We're going to have some interesting times. Now, that's funny that they get out to the tough lead, folks. Thanks for joining us. If you're new to RGR, hit the like and the sub. Been having fun so far tonight doing the dad thing, meeting some folks. So cheers to everyone there. This game gets started in a way that I think really lends towards the back and forth. In the end, I do think Jacksonville's going to have more firepower. Again, nothing will ruin a ball game faster than turnovers, and I think we just saw that as a result. That's what comes on. Thank you for that, Jeremy. Appreciate that confirmation. Knock on wood, it stays that way. You never know with me up here in the mountains, but it looks like I'm going to be solid tonight. Different view in the studio here. This is my standing desk, and you can see this is usually where I'm shooting my background at. This studio is always in flux. That background generally stays the same, but it's always on a different wall. I've changed it probably 6 times in the last 6 months, so you guys will probably see some differences there as well. And thank you as well, Andrew. Appreciate the confirmation. My sound is bad, though, meaning that it's low, John, or that there's a problem with it. Let me know, please.
Yeah, I sound good, but I look bad. You look good, but you sound bad.
Together we're going to get it done. It's going to be great. Brenda, welcome. I just saw your comment. Appreciate you being here. I know live streams are tough for some people, especially because we try to do them at night. Monday night in particular seems to be an issue for a lot of folks. So just want to make sure. Okay, thank you, Lachlan. Appreciate that. I'll see what I can do to turn up my gain. Anytime I have to use the broadcast headset, it becomes a bit of an issue to get levels. Hopefully that's going to help even that out. Thanks, Oregon. And thank you, Ray, of course. Happy to do it because this is something a little bit different. Unique perspective. Obviously, this is a team that, depending on what happens tomorrow with Bengals and Bills, who could be playing the Chiefs. So that's really the idea behind this. And unlike the Monday night Q&A, a lot of folks can watch ball games and enjoy us. So I kind of like the concept of the side-by-side. I am terrible during a Chiefs game because I'm taking so many notes that I don't generally get to concentrate on paying attention and being able to interact with people while the game's going on. So this is going to be definitely a new thing for us as well. We'll get to some of your questions as we go through. And Gina said, is anyone concerned that Carl Sheffers isn't assigned to any games this weekend? Sure as heck better not be assigned to a Chiefs game. Well, they do find that he is one of the senior crews, and I think you're going to have to be in the position to deal with it when it does get assigned. I think there is it's not low. I wouldn't call it higher than anybody else in terms of a chance to be reffing a Chiefs game in the future, but it's certainly within the realm of possibility, and I do think that they give them rest because they do plan on using them during the playoff run.
I do not want to see Carl Cheffers ref a Chiefs game. I think the Chiefs are like 1-6 in their last games that Carl Cheffers has reffed against the spread, and that's super unlikely happening. And I think it's like a 5% chance. So, I mean, you can say whatever you want to, but some people think it's fishy. It's probably just random chance, but you don't want to see him reffing a Chiefs game. If I'm watching a game and he's the ref and I know going in, I'm going to have some bad feelings. That's just me personally.
No, I can get down with that. It looks like my sound's in and out a little bit. It is 7-0 now. First and 10, second drive for Jacksonville. And that's something that I usually track that you guys probably don't have to be aware of is I'm always looking at drives and the impact they're having as we go through ball games. That was a nice ball right over the outstretched hands. That's something that I think you're going to see a lot. I feel like Lawrence has been building momentum this season. I might be probably not alone in that, but probably on the minority now after last week's performance. Gary, I don't know if you've gotten a chance to see much of them, but I like where he's coming from and the fact that I think he can deliver the ball in a way that helps not just Ingram, but anybody.
Yeah, and I think Doug Pederson did a good job with Lawrence this year. A lot of folks said that really this is kind of his rookie season because last year was such a mess with Urban Meyer. So as the season's progressed, he's got better and better. And I think the last 6 or 7 weeks or so, his numbers rival that of Justin Herbert's. So this should be a good matchup between these two teams led by a couple really good young quarterbacks.
Yeah. I'm
going to stop my cam real quick and restart it. Maybe we'll focus.
Okay, cool. Let's see here. Who would you rather win this game? That's a great question, Steven. I do think that the significant injury to Mike Williams alleviates some of my concern about the matchup the Chiefs would have against him because he just has a penchant for playing big against the Chiefs, but he will be out 2 to 3 weeks is what the current thinking is. So I'm less concerned about it. Can the Chargers still know the Chiefs really well? They still have that kind of advantage. I'd still probably go with Jacksonville, but I'm less concerned about it if it is the Chargers next week. Gary, do you have a thought either way?
Yeah, I don't think you want to play a divisional opponent 3 times in a season. We saw the 49ers blow out the Seahawks earlier today, but they were hanging around at halftime, and if you're close at halftime, a lot of things can happen. And facing a team a third time, beating them a third time is not easy. The Chiefs handled the Jaguars really well their first matchup. I think it was 24-10 or something like that. And, I'd like to see the Jaguars win this game and face Kansas City, as long as both Buffalo and Cincinnati win their next games tomorrow.
Yeah, I feel like it's mostly going to be chalk. I always try to pick some kind of upset. This is the one that I think is most likely, especially given with Tua and Lamar not playing, at least unless Sammy Watkins gets his way. Ryan was asking, could Sky Moore come out of the shadows next week and become a star? I mean, that's what you hope here as Etienne hits the corner really nicely. I will say this, nobody needs to have a knee injury, but I feel like Etienne has powered through what is probably really his rookie year as well. Better as the season has gone on. I've been impressed with him. I didn't think that he was going to be a guy that could carry the load late in the year when he was a rookie before he got hurt. And now that he's doing it now, kudos to him. As far as Sky, I feel like they've been holding back all season for Sky, Gary. Do you see that as well?
Yeah, he's been a piece for this team, but they've used him very sparingly. And I think there's just too many mouths to feed on the Chiefs offense. I mean, if they picked up Tony, Juju Smith-Schuster is playing a good role. They've got a lot of pieces. And the one thing about Sky Moore is that whenever he's had opportunities to be in the offense, he's made good on them. He's been really good on passes out on the flat, breaking tackles, getting past a couple guys, picking up 7, 8, 9 yards. You can use that all over the field. But right now, they've got so many mouths to feed. And with McCole Hardman coming back, I don't know in the playoffs if Andy Reid is going to want to use Sky Moore too much whenever he has a guy like McCole Hardman, who has been to a Super Bowl before, has had a lot of playoff success. And I think Hardman, as long as he comes back healthy, is going to be a really nice piece in the postseason.
I certainly hope so. I'd like to see it work out that way. I'm going to take that down a little bit. I do like Lachlan. That's not a bad pick. The Giants have been kind of on a roll, and I do think that Minnesota's kind of a paper tiger, to tell you the truth. So, Adam, could Bills or Bengals lose tomorrow? It's all within the realm of possibility. There's no way to say never. But without those quarterbacks, I just don't see it. What would have to happen, Gary, for those upsets to come down?
So for the Bengals game, for them to lose, one thing I want to note is that John Harbaugh has been really good on the road in the playoffs in his career. I think he has the most playoff wins of any head coach on the road in NFL history. If Huntley plays, what it's going to take for them to win that game is they're going to have to take care of the ball, and their defense is just going to have to play lights out. It's not going to be like their other two matchups with the Bengals. It's going to be the Ravens defense that has to take control of that ball game versus the Bengals if they want to have even a remote shot of winning. And then they got to get some bounces to go their way. But really speaking, I can't foresee any outcome where the Bills lose tomorrow. The Bengals, I could see them losing that game, but I still think it's highly unlikely.
Fourth down here coming up for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Doug Pederson's deep into his play sheet already. I'm really interested to see what they do here. It's 7 yards to go. That doesn't show me a whole lot of faith in the kicker here from what, 36, 37?
So 53, 54-yard field goal.
And that ends up being an interception number 2. And this is not going the way the Jags wanted. I think that route was kind of shut down. There might have been a little bit of early contact. We'll see on the replay here in a second. But that is not what you want to see from somebody trying to compete with these Chargers. So, Gary, you had it, man. It definitely looks like the Chargers are the team that got off the bus ready to play.
Yeah. And, I mean, really, that's worse than a punt, too, because I think they lost like a couple yards on that return. So they would have been better off just pooching it there than trying to go for it. But obviously you don't anticipate Lawrence throwing his second interception. That was a bad pass, though. I mean, it was behind the receiver. The defenders made a good opportunity to make that play. It's a bad look for the Jaguars starting this game. I think that, since they're at home and the fans were going crazy leading up to the game, there might be a little tension built up for the Jaguars where they're going to be a little bit rough at first. If they can weather this storm early, the Chargers are going to be putting their way, then maybe they'll be able to get back in the game and play a lot better. But definitely looks like they've got some nerves here in the early goings on the game.
Yeah, and that's to be expected. This isn't a team that's got a lot of playoff games in the last, decade, let alone the fact that your two stars here on offense are effectively rookies. So let's see if that can settle down. I think I'd be very interested. If I'm Doug Pederson, I'm getting in everybody's ear on the offensive side and just be like, we know where we're going. Take it easy. I haven't seen anything exotic yet from the Chargers, nothing that makes me too concerned, but I think that this is more on the Jacksonville side. And if Doug can get a hold of it, maybe they can settle it down and get back on track. Terry, hope you're doing good. I'm going to try to get to some of your questions, you guys. I know there's a bunch here while we're trying to watch as well. Do you think that AR will try to get everybody in the mix next week? Andy Reid, that is. And put a lot more options for the next team to get ready for. I do. And I think what they've been holding back – I do think there's a section that's been held back. Not necessarily does it have to be Sky Moore. Doesn't necessarily have to be particular play design. But I do think they're going to put things on film, A, to put points up next week, but also to put film and make that much harder the preparation for the next round. The divisional round, I think, is really what they're most concerned about.
Yeah, and that's one thing I love about this Chiefs team this year is, in years past, it was the Kelsey and Tyreek Hill show. You knew where the ball was going most of the time. And this year, you've got really no clue. Their offense is so diversified. I think there's been several games where Mahomes has thrown to 7, 8, 9 different receivers. And so as a defense going in to prepare for that offense, you don't have two guys you really have to key on. You've got Kelsey, and then who do you take out of the game next? Do you want to try to send some guys McKinnon's way because he's caught so many touchdown passes, had so many receptions at the second half of the season? And if you do that, then you're going to leave the middle open for guys like Smith-Schuster to eat. And you really don't want to see Tony in space. If I was an opposing defense, I wouldn't want to see Sky Moore in space. You definitely don't want to leave Mecole Hardman out there alone. If he's open, he can take one to the house any play with his speed. So it's just a different offense the Chiefs have put forward this year. And I really like the variety and the diversity of the Chiefs offense this year. There's a whole bunch of different pieces, and it's much harder to prepare for. So back to that question, is Andy Reid going to mix it up? I think he's going to keep mixing it up like he's been doing it all year long. We'll see some cool stuff. Mahomes is going to hit a lot of different players. They're going to catch the ball, and should see a diversified attack by the Chiefs next week, whoever they're facing.
Yeah, I agree. A couple of questions here on the play. I do think that there was some contact prior to the ball in the area. I didn't hear what the broadcaster said, but I do think that probably could have been reviewed on that last interception. And right now, Justin Herbert with the Patrick Mahomes sidearm throw, everybody's changing their platform, changing their arm angles to try to emulate what he can do. Justin's sneakily athletic in that way. You don't have to be an ex-baseball player like Mahomes is. Clearly, those guys with that background, it helps. But you don't have to. And I think that's really interesting that was a big play to them. And he tries to go right back to Palmer, I believe. This is a game that I think is going to be a lot of fun. A lot of back and forth here and what we might see from the Chargers, too.
Yeah, and that sidearm stuff, a lot of that's instinctual. I mean, they're just got a guy coming at their face, and then they've got to, get the throw around. And some guys can do it, some guys can't. And Herbert's one of them that can. And as far as coaching it up, yeah, they can try. But as soon as guys start throwing interceptions, doing that stuff, they're going to stop it.
Yeah. A couple of questions about DeAndre Hopkins. I don't think, because that contract was built to be the out year for him, I do think he ends up probably out. I don't know that he gets traded. I want to say it's like a hair over $30 million is his cap charge next year. So I do think the Chiefs could be looking at a free agency kind of situation, and I think that would be fine. I just don't want to. You can't really trade for that contract, in my opinion, unless they had to do a number of magical moves in order to get that cap space.
And so if they are going to get any trade value out of Hopkins, it's going to have to be a team that has a ton of cap room. I think the Chiefs are 7th or 8th in cap space. I can't remember, so they're in a really good position for the offseason. But if they do go after Hopkins, it really limits them in a lot of ways. Other things they might want to do to build the team. So I'm kind of at a toss-up whether or not they'll be able to trade him or if they have to straight up release him.
My thought as well. Looks like Kelly's in for the Chargers. They're changing the pace up a little bit already. Eckler's ran a couple routes. He's only got 2 carries, didn't get much on the second. Obviously, the first one was the touchdown run. But I think if they can manage the Jacksonville Jaguars to get a stop here against these Chargers, if they can hold them to 3 here, I think that's going to be a big feather in their cap that can help turn that around. Because as Red said here, you got to calm the quarterback down. Now, the defense played up and saved the game last week. Can they make something happen here, get a stop? I think that's got to be the primary goal right now. And, hey, a drop like that ball was a little bit behind the receiver. That'll help. Gary, I'm sorry. I'm still ahead of you, aren't I?
Yeah, by about a play, but it's okay.
You guys, everybody let me know. Am I ahead of all of you as well? I am watching via satellite, so there is a possibility there. And let's see who else had thoughts here. Yeah, agreed, Oregon. That definitely could have been a flag on that second interception. Here we go. 3rd and 5. Ball's out, and that's completion to Keenan Allen. Again, sitting down in underneath zones, that's what Keenan Allen does best, I think, and it's the yak that you got to guard for against him. If he doesn't have Mike Williams next week, and the Chargers do get through this ball game and come to Kansas City, without Mike out there, Keenan Allen's going to be the guy in the pass game that they have to trigger. You can let Palmer hurt you, in my opinion, and still be okay.
Yeah, Keenan Allen did a really good job sitting in the zone on that play, just finding the soft spot. And that's where Allen is really great, and Herbert finds him a lot. So just a business as usual for the Chargers offense there.
Yep. Okay, it looks like I'm behind some. So, Jason, you're well out front, and I'm ahead of everybody else. Okay, then I'll slow down here. Here, you know what? I'm going to pause for a 6 count maybe. Probably isn't enough, but I'll keep it on pause here for a minute.
I'm on YouTube TV. Keenan Allen's laying on his back after a pass out to the flat.
Tell me when his graphic comes up.
It's up.
There we go. Okay. Hopefully that synced us up. We'll see. The magic of the pause button can always help. Thank you guys for being here. I'm sure you're all RGR fans. If you are not, if you happen to be somebody new, somebody that maybe I just met tonight, welcome. This is kind of a new thing for us, calling teams that we're not that familiar with the rosters. We know the Chargers pretty well. I can't say that I know all 53 guys on the Jags roster, but we're going to give you our thoughts as we go through here. That pass tip to me. Am I about online with you out here?
Yep. You were about 2 seconds ahead of me that time, so that's pretty good.
Okay, I'll take that because if I try to get better, I'll screw it up. All right. Shout out to our friends out at Mountains Walking Brewery. This is June Grass. It's a heck of a West Coast IPA. I'm just going to say that. Definitely a different show tonight on a Saturday night. So here we are, 3rd and goal. Nowhere to go.
If they don't get this, you think Staley goes for it?
I think he probably will, knowing him.
I think he's going to, too. If you were the head coach of the Chargers, would you go for it here?
If I was the head coach of the Chargers, they'd been in already. But I have to say I probably would, too. I think they've slowed down in some of their concepts here. You don't see them. While that was a middle pass, it was not like a mesh concept. It wasn't anything where you have guys on a run. It was throwing to a spot, and I don't like that, when you're that close to the goal line. But
yeah, if I'm head coach here, I kick the field goal. I take the guaranteed 3 points. It's 5 yards to go.
Yep. And Staley breaks his tendency and does take the point. So it's 10-0. That's a win for the Jacksonville Jaguars defense right there and keeps them in this ballgame. Now, the thing is, they've got a 2-minute, not even probably a 90-second timeout now. You got to get in Trevor Lawrence's ear. If you're Doug Pederson, you got to be like, everything's okay. Nothing is blown here. For those of you that are big Lebowski fans, you know the line. You got to calm him down. Set him back out there so he can be efficient and be dynamic. I think this is a time for tempo. This is a time to get the ball out quick, hit that 3rd step and get the ball out on a slant or something nice and quick, settle him down and get the ball moving. The
dude abides.
The dude does abide. I've been called many, many worse things, I'll tell you that.
So, yeah, if I'm Doug Pederson, going into this game, the Chargers' run defense has been so porous, and I've seen Trevor Lawrence back there throwing the ball, which he can do, but with the nerves going into this game, maybe it helps him to establish a little more run, have some, 2nd and 5s to go work off of, stay ahead of the sticks, and support Lawrence, who may be a little bit antsy. But, I mean, he's played in big games before on Saturdays, in his college career. So the first one was a tip pass. That's bad luck. The second one was a bad throw. It was behind the receiver. So he's got to keep it together.
I think the defender had something to do with that being that far behind. That's just unfortunately, I hate to make something like this about calls, but the refereeing this year has made that a topic, one that we have to address at some point, even though I don't like to do that because there's literally no information about it. I like to give you guys an informed opinion. I don't know anything about the refs or thinking because they don't have to publicize anything. If you get a pool report from why a call was made, you're extremely lucky, and there's no explanation of it whatsoever. It's the most infuriating thing about the game for me right now.
Yeah, there's no transparency on the calls that are made on the field. I don't even think the refs are interviewed after the games. I think just having that would go a long ways. Now, they probably don't want to have that heat, and maybe you got to pay them a little more to do that, but just having them talk after the game and explain their reasoning might be super helpful for fans, at least to have an understanding of why the call was made the way it was. I do like the broadcasts that have added the referees or the former referees as part of their crew. I think that's been good to explain, what the refs are thinking and give the fans a better idea of what's happening throughout the game, why a specific call was made. But they still have a mile to go, really, to get where I think they need to be, particularly becoming more transparent.
Agreed. And I think they should be full-time employees. I'm too old to run around on a field, or I would volunteer, but I think that is a path towards better accountability, better preparation, and I think that is part of the equation here. All right. Cody asked, Ryan, Mike Williams has a fractured vertebrae. As I understand, it is a compression, an anterior compression stress fracture. Not uncommon. In fact, a lot of high school athletes end up with this. And it is something that is both procedural in the way that you carry your body. It does lead to some anterior pelvic tilt, or it can be a result of anterior pelvic tilt, which is generally a weakened hamstring, weakened core muscles. It can be corrected. The only prognosis for it that I'm aware of is rest. So they said 2 to 3 weeks. Normally in a situation where it's newly diagnosed in a teenager, because I literally just went through this with one of mine, is about 6 weeks rest. So the fact that they're saying 2 to 3 weeks for Mike Williams means that hopefully it's not too bad for him. I do like the player. When he was a free agent, I mentioned twice. You put him in a Kansas City uniform, and I think everybody changed their tunes on him pretty quick.
So do they think that bone heals in 6 weeks? Is that the thought process behind that?
That's the idea. Relieve the stress and the compression repeated that's creating it, and it should be able to heal.
Man, Chargers secondary's come to play this game.
I think they're tuned up. I think they understand that they're into playoff mode like that, and I think you see the Jags lagging behind right now in getting onto playoff mode. And for some of them, like the rookies, they're not quite sure where that is or just how fast that has to be. So I think we're going to see some better play here coming up. Maybe the next possession, see if they can salvage this one, but no, they can't. Ball goes into the dirt because you just can't get it blocked up well. There's a tell somewhere when you have multiple defensive linemen in the backfield. It's one thing if you turn them loose and you don't block them, but when they can diagnose it, that's a bad sign.
Yeah, let's see if they got their hands on them at all, or they didn't even sell it one bit here. Oh, they're looking at the wrong side of the line.
It's a mismatch. And I didn't think that it was going to be that bad, but so far it has been pretty drastic. Now, good for them. Didn't turn the ball over here. That's not going to.
That's a plus.
Yeah, right. I mean, you're going to get a chance. It's a bad bounce for them, though. And I don't want to make it sound like I'm rooting against the Chargers, folks. I was pretty happy to see the bounce back for Trevor Lawrence, because I do think I don't know if he's a generational prospect like everybody had said when he came out, but I do think he's a very good quarterback. I thought he got a super raw deal having to deal with the whole Urban Meyer mess. So I am kind of pulling for him to kind of get back on track. Yep, Sean, I agree with you completely. That's what I was talking about before. I should have just said it straight out like you did. Let's see here. Tyler, if a 23-year-old quarterback can answer questions about losing a game for their team, a 55-year-old ref can certainly do that, be expected to do the same. I agree with you, especially when the road and the experience to be an NFL ref at this point is longer than the quarterback had. It's not even just the age. It's the fact there's the number of years of experience put into it. That's the big thing for me. And okay, so it looks like the streaming services were probably closer to synced up. There's a couple people that are ahead, so that's great. You can hear the on-screen analysis, and we'll get back for you there. I'm interested to see. Throw in the comments, you guys. How are you ingesting this? Is this a side screen for you? Are you watching and listening to us? How are you doing this? Thank you, Tracy. Yeah, there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there, Tracy. It's kind of crazy. I think it's overblown, and I think it's just because people don't understand the thought process that goes into everything. There's a conspiracy theory that Roger Goodell is trying to rig everything for the Buffalo Bills, which I think is absolutely nuts, because if he had done that, he would have said it would have been an outdoor stadium close to New York. It wouldn't be inside in Atlanta. So
yeah. And for those stories you have about like Hurricane Katrina and the Saints winning, that year, or 9/11 and the Patriots winning, for every one of those stories, there's another story where the story didn't, have a Disney ending. Like the Chiefs played Tampa Bay earlier this year, and they just got hit by a hurricane that was pretty devastating for that area. Right. And the Buccaneers still lost that game. So sometimes some of that is confirmation bias. The whole stuff about Carl Cheffers, I wonder if there is something there where maybe he just doesn't see the color red the same as all the others. I don't know what's going on there. There is some conflict, the history between Cheffers and Travis Kelce, because if you remember that game versus the Steelers, whenever Alex Smith was the quarterback, they called that holding penalty on the 2-point conversion at the end of the game in the playoff game versus the Steelers. And then after the game, Travis Kelce did something he never should have done, but he said something along the lines of Carl Cheffers wasn't suited to wear a uniform at Foot Locker working there. And that history doesn't look good for Carl Cheffers and the way he's called Chiefs games after that. So do I think there's a conspiracy theory? No. But it's a bad look whenever you say something like that and then the calls go against you. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm with you. Hey, that's something to watch for, Bill Vaughn. See how Bosa does longevity-wise. And, Tracy, I'm not 100%, but I do believe I'm not sure the NBA uses full-time refs either, but I know baseball does. At least I'm pretty sure baseball does. I'm not a baseball fan, so I'm not 100% on that either.
I mean, you'd think they'd have to with the 162-game season. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of games. I mean, what is it? Baseball season lasts over half the year.
Right. Hey, Dan made it. What's up, Dan? Hope you're doing well.
Good. I'm doing good. How you guys doing? It's not going the way that I expected it so far.
I am surprised by that, too. I expected it to be tighter, although I will say kudos to the Jaguars defense here, rising up a little bit. Walker's getting around. It's funny to watch. A couple of guys used to play together, battle each other now. 3rd and 5 here coming up, folks, and I think this is the money down. And generally, I trust Herbert here, unless you throw something exotic at him. I'd like to see them bring some pressure, but doesn't look like they are. 4-man rush.
Looks like we might have a man look, by the way. Yep.
Dan, how are you sync-wise? I am at 310.
It was 314 when you said that, so that's not terrible. Okay. It could be worse.
Andrew, thank you. Let me know what needs to change. This is the first time out for us trying to do this live, so sync is always an issue. Watching and listening, glad to have you all here. Cody, thank you. I appreciate that. And please give us pointers as we go through in the comments to see if we need to adjust. Is Sean Payton the perfect head coach for the Chargers? Well, right now they have a head coach. So I don't know, even if they lose this ball game, if Staley's going to go. I tend to doubt it. You have to Tom Telesco can talk himself into some things, but you have to really talk yourself into letting go of a coach that just had a playoff game.
Yeah, you do. And I think that you can talk yourself into Sean Payton for just about any team with a good young quarterback. That's kind of how this is going to work, especially with what he's done with Drew Brees. So people are going to see that and assume that he can translate it over. I think we all kind of do that as well. But the problem is you can't just go in there and change everything, like you said, with Staley having a playoff game. Right now they are up 10-0. And if they do win, he is guaranteed to be the head coach next year. And the only problem is that you have like Lombardi, who's not a very good offensive coordinator, in my opinion. I don't think he is. I think that their scheme is terrible, and it limits what Justin Herbert can do. And if you had an offensive coordinator, and maybe you fire him, I don't know, but I don't know. I've dropped something, so
let's be real.
I think you're right, Dan.
For jobs, is he not?
What? I couldn't hear either of you.
I think Pep Hamilton is interviewing for jobs, Gary. I mean, Herbert looked best with him his rookie season, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, and so back to Peyton, though, I agree with you, Dan, that if Staley and the Chargers win this playoff game, there's no way that, you fire a head coach coming off of a season where you won a playoff game. If they end up losing, I think that if Sean Payton's knocking on the door and he's interested in coaching the Chargers, then you have to listen to that and give him a shot. Another angle on the whole Sean Payton deal is that I think he lives in Dallas. And Jerry Jones has no inclination of getting rid of Mike McCarthy. But sometimes I wonder if he would be interested in that Dallas job too if it became available. But I think I personally would not like Sean Payton in the AFC West because I think he is a really good coach. And if he was paired up with Herbert, that would be a really tough team to beat on a consistent basis like they've done today. So, I mean, we're probably rooting for the Chargers to lose this game. But in the long-term impact, maybe it wouldn't be such a bad thing if they won.
Shout out to my wife. Had to close the closet door. Thanks for keeping me on track, babe.
Nice.
Jeremy, it sounds like you have the setup. Game's on the TV, RGR one phone, and the old phone's over on Cole's feed, as well as sitting in the recliner. I think you got it made, brother. Watching the
What's
game.
up?
Awesome. Glad to hear that. Or are we going to see Miss Avery tonight?
Apparently, she is making an appearance.
All right.
All right, you can sit for a few minutes, okay?
We're going to go to this so we can see her.
Yeah, I agree with W and MB right there. Your mic is a little on the fritz, in my opinion.
All right.
Maybe it's not plugged in all the way.
No, it is. It's the cable that's like messing with my setup here. I had to go to an alternate setup because I couldn't move all the cameras. So you know what? Let me see if I can fix that.
If this penalty is on the defense, you give Marvin Jones an Oscar right now. He held him. He held on to the DB to get it.
Yeah.
Watch. He's gonna get to him. He's gonna hold him.
Yep, but underthrown pass is undefeated in terms of pass interference. If you underthrow the ball and you stop and the defensive back runs into you, they're
Right
going to
there.
call that every time, even though he's holding him like crazy.
I think they're gonna pick it up. I think they're gonna pick this up. There's no way they can call that. There's no way.
I hope not. And the underthrown pass thing is just it's been rampant this year.
Okay.
There we go.
Finally, the underthrown pass wasn't called for a PI.
Knock on something fast.
Honestly, if Jones didn't hold on to him and he just tried to go and get the football, I guarantee you that they actually leave the flag there. But look, he wraps him up. Instead of wrapping up, go get the football. Like just go through him or come back around, do something.
I think that's exactly what Terry McCauley said too.
Yeah, I've got him muted, so I don't know.
I don't know.
I think one thing that surprised me heading in this game is the Chargers' run defense has held up really well in this first quarter.
I'm intrigued. I was just going to say something very similar, except on the opposite side. Like I'm impressed. ATN continues to, I think, improve at not only taking on collisions, but playing through just the contact and the fact that they're coming for them. And I like what you said about that because the Chargers have tried to up their run defense here pretty significantly in the last month. Right, Miss Avery?
I just watched a little montage there that makes total sense that they're going man coverage. They have no one that can beat man coverage. They don't. They have zero receivers that can beat man coverage. So you're hoping that.
Wow.
Yep. There it is. Man, they can't beat man coverage. They can't.
It's not even beating.
No.
Just don't give it back to him. I mean, and kudos to Ingram because he's had a good season, but that ball again was placed behind him. A little bit of pressure in his face, but just not there. And I know Doug's trying to get some of his crossing routes going. Look at the way that these routes come together. Samuel Jr. is just sitting there.
Yeah, that's bad. I think Lawrence is in his head. What is that? His third pick now?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do something to get him out of his head. It's first quarter. You've thrown 3 picks. That's not great.
I mean, I hate to say it, but let's bring in the fullbacks and start running power. Just take it off of his shoulders. Give him a breath. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, or start throwing to the outside, easy completions.
What's up?
iPad seems to be popular as well. Rock on, Mike.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yes, everyone. Dan made it. Yes, Dan's going to make it.
I appreciate y'all welcoming me in here.
Miss Avery might need some things tonight. Dan might have to step away.
Yeah.
My wife's got wings coming, so I might have to step away for a little bit. Like we have
Solid.
some other guests that are planning the show. We'll see when they make it, and we're just going to kind of all sit around and have some fun.
My daughter is actively rocking me in the chair, so I might just fall asleep.
Now with these picks, we're going to keep you awake that way.
What's up?
Always rocking.
Yes, you are rocking in the chair.
Eckler solo. That's a win every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got lots of people in the chat just like brewing it for some people.
Oh, sorry. Was that me?
No, it wasn't you.
Okay. Ryan, that's a great question. I know that Cole does that a lot on his streams. The service that we use, because we're multiple, we don't get poll questions. It's not one of the services here. I am looking at some other software that maybe we can do that. The advantage Cole has is when he's live, he can do that because his software is for one person. It's just a different format that we use, and we've used it forever. Maybe it's time to look at something higher end. We'll see. But what would you like to talk about, Mr. White? Let us know in the chat.
Oh.
That's a good question, Tyler. I don't know particulars about the Spanos family. I don't follow them that closely. I don't think Staley goes. B, no, they cannot compete for Peyton. The most liquid ownership in the league right now is Denver. What they got in the Walmart family buying into them means that they have nearly unlimited capital. They can afford to give Peyton $20 million a year and not blink. So that's going to be the obstacle. I don't think he ends up there. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, I don't think Sean Payton ends up in the West at all. I think he ends up in Dallas just like he always meant to, and just like Jerry Jones has been talking about for a year.
Oh, I don't. See, I don't. I think that he's perfectly happy with Mike McCarthy as the head coach in Dallas. I absolutely don't think he's going anywhere.
I will try to work on my volume 2W. Well, I hope you're right. We'll see what happens. Why do you think the NFL decided to play an AFC championship in an NFC stadium? My thought is so that it can be truly neutral.
Yep. Yeah, I'm with you. And I mean, both have to travel to Atlanta. How many fans of the Buffalo Bills and the Chiefs do you know in Atlanta, Georgia? It's also a dome. I don't know, it makes perfect sense to me.
I'm down. I'm going to try to zoom out a little bit so we can see a little bit more of Miss Avery because, you got to make advantage when the star of the show is on.
Yeah, as well, so we got to make the money maker over here. So
right.
All right, I just pulled the stat here, and in the NFL playoff history, after a team that had a lead in the first quarter of 17 points, only one team has come back to win in that case.
I wonder who that is. Who that is. Let me think about that.
Looks like there's a flag on that. Got out nearly to the 40, so that was a plus, but looks like that might be coming back.
Then they need something right here.
They do.
Because I don't think the Chargers are going to just keep scoring touchdowns. I do think that the
ball with a short field they might.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like if they can get some offensive, confidence going, I think the Jags might be able to do something. But you turn the ball over 3 times in 3 possessions, you're really going the wrong way there. Okay.
If the Jaguars feel bad about themselves, we can always tell them about this 1940 matchup between the Bears and the Washington football team at the time. They ended up losing that game 73-0 in the playoffs. This is a game in 1940. There were 10 passes in that game. They threw for 138 yards. But they still won 73-0. That's crazy.
Des, thank you for asking. Are you guys streaming any of the games tomorrow? I am out of office tomorrow with some family commitments, so I will not be. If either of you guys feel like you want to, I am all for it. That's absolutely fine. Let's see. Some broadcasts are ahead. Try to wait. Yes. Hold off on the spoilers in the chat with you guys. I'm trying to control myself, so if you guys could help me out too, that would be great. Let's see. So
now, the one thing I want to say about the Chargers is that heading into this game, I thought there'd be a possibility, just given their history, that there would be some horrible gaffe where there'd be a mistake that they'd make in the game that causes them to lose. Obviously, they're up 17-0, and gosh, I didn't count the record, but it looked like there were 20 games where a team won by or was leading by 17 points in the first quarter. But wouldn't it be Charger-esque for them to allow the Jaguars back into this game?
Absolutely.
It definitely would. I mean, Andy Studebaker, where are you? Hey, Callie, thank you for saying that. I'm pretty happy with these two. It's my favorite design of the ones that I've done. If I don't have it here, you can get it right here. That's bit.ly/RGR store. This is like the premium one. It's super soft and stuff. It only goes up to 2X right now. The standard is also available. That'll go up to, I believe, 5X now. So we finally got some suppliers that can do the bigger sizes for us. So I think there's plenty for everybody. If you guys want to check that out, feel free. It's right here at bit.ly/RGR store. That's where we were there. Let's see. Jacksonville coming back from this. Lawrence isn't Mahomes. Okay. Morgan, I agree with you. I will say that he does have the ability to come back from this if he just stops giving them the ball. Because, quite frankly, if he wasn't for short fields, Dan, do you think that this score would be 17 right now?
No, I don't. I don't. Because, again, I don't believe in their offense. I don't think that their offense, with the way that it is constructed, especially without Mike Williams, that they can get big plays. We saw them just fail in a 3rd and 5 not too long ago. Like, I don't think that their offense is built to just put up a ton of points. And I do think, again, if you give them a longer field, maybe Jacksonville can score maybe even a field goal here on this drive and kind of finagle something out of it to give themselves a little momentum, then you're going to be able to possibly get back in this. You want to try to make it this a one-score game by halftime. That's what you're looking for right here.
Absolutely.
At worst.
In their first matchup, the Jaguars won by 28 points, so they're down 17 now. So, if they played exactly like they did last time, maybe they win by 11 points. But, I mean, it is possible, but you turn the ball over 3 times in the first quarter, you're down by 17. It's not looking pretty, obviously. Is there a chance? Yeah, there's a chance, but they've got a long ways to go.
They do.
We've seen crazier things.
I mean, it's a tourniquet situation. Stop the bleeding. Stop giving them the ball. Stop giving them your blood, and you have a chance to come back here. I don't know if they can do it. I got to tell you. It's dependent on so many factors for a young team, and particularly young leadership on that team. This drive right here, I don't know. I like that Doug's going back to the run here. Use ATN. You got to grind it out. If you're just getting 4 yards of carry, then fine. Move the chains and keep on going. Where do you guys feel in terms of mentorship, in terms of trying to turn around a quarterback that got zero support last year? Is there a better coach, maybe other than Andy, than Doug Pederson?
I don't think so. Not only is there I don't think there's a better coach to do it. We've kind of seen him already do it. He learned under Andy. Like it's a direct line to what Andy Reid does with coaches. He got to see how Andy Reid dealt with Alex Smith, who had, what was it, 8 different offensive coordinators in his first 9 seasons, something like that. It was ridiculous. And he was able to bring him in, put stability around him, and figure it out. So, oof. Oh. All right, well.
I'm hitting the pause button again because I'm a little bit ahead of you guys. That's what I was talking about before. That's where you have to run enough so that Trevor Lawrence can deliver the ball and just get it out of there. Yeah. When he has to go to a second and third read and wait for somebody else to come back open, he's scanning back to the other side of the field on a second go through his reads, that is far too long. And Doug knows that. I'm surprised they have not changed up their route combinations yet.
I'm also a little surprised they haven't done any draw plays. Whenever your offense is sputtering, like on that 2nd and 6, okay, that would have been a really perfect time to run a draw play. Mm-hmm. Instead, they ran a straight, weird shotgun with, an offset. I think it was Evan Ingram in the backfield, and then they had the half pistol formation, whatever that's called, I forget. But then they just ran it. Like, just try a little bit of something different. You got to try something different if you want to get things working in your favor right now. And they're going the wrong way. Going the wrong way.
Well, I'm going to take it as a victory that you held your own and you were able to punt this time. That you didn't give the ball back with an easy score. I mean, it's little things, right? When you continually are messing up, you got to stop that streak first. I got to tell you, they've clearly taken advantage of their turnovers, but I don't feel like the Chargers are dominating even when they are on the offensive side of the ball, other than the fact that they have short fields.
Yeah, That's what it looks like. Again, I didn't see the first 10 minutes of the game, but the first drive that I saw, they punted it.
And let me take you back to the trade deadline. Josh Allen was supposedly available, and I got to tell you, he is all over the field. Just makes a play on the sideline right there, and just shows you what he's capable of. The defensive Josh Allen, let me say it that way. I'm gonna have to find a way to make that distinction here through the playoffs, but a guy that I'm still very, very high on.
Yeah.
Michael asked, do you know about the tickets for the AFC Championship? Will go on Chiefs season ticket holders before anyone else, including Bills fans. I have absolutely no idea. I would assume that season ticket holders for both the Bills and the Chiefs will have the opportunity first, but I cannot swear to that. I've seen nothing on it, Mike.
Yeah. I did check the cost of flights right now from Kansas City to Atlanta, and they're about $250 for the cheapest one. So if you're going to go, first you got to find a ticket, and then you got to buy a plane ticket. And so it's going to get pretty expensive pretty quick.
I think the Jaguars have actually been down multiple times in this season to like pretty big leads. I think Baltimore, I think Dallas, there's a couple other ones where they were down and they came back and win. So it's not like out of the question for them. They got to get something right on offense, and right now would be a nice stop on defense to be able to get the ball back. So we'll see. We will see.
Did you just Rich Gannon the word offense?
What?
I could have sworn I heard all offense.
Oh, maybe.
You've been listening to Rich too much?
No, I can't stand that guy.
Let's see. Hey, everybody give Javonte a hand.
That's awesome.
The Arrowhead South chapter in Georgia. I love that. You guys know I have family down there, and they're all Bulldog fans. So I'll have to hook them up with you, Javonte. Although they support the Green Bay Packers of all things, my Georgia family. So I got nothing. I can't explain it. That's a nice ball. I don't know. I'm pretty happy with what Herbert's been doing. He's been efficient. He's been clean. I don't see him taking chances, and I don't see him hesitating. And I think those are the two things that with him that I worry about, that you just want to hit on timing.
I mean, they got, what is that? Who was out there with Donald Parham, who's like 6'7"? That's a matchup problem. Like, it doesn't matter. He can just throw it in the area, and he's going to come down with it.
True. Jonathan, a lot of the new stuff, Dan's shirt he's got on, a lot of the newer tees are coming in up to like 5X. So just check each one. It depends on the material. And the hardest thing is some of the bigger sizes, like their red is off. So that's why it's been tough lately. But check everything that you like, because there are a number that are all the way up to 5Xs now. Good day. Appreciate you.
Wow.
Great show as always. No matter what we play, we win only if Reed and Patrick stop doing the minimum. Absolutely. Pull out all the stops. Are you happy with Walker? Is that what you're saying, Dan?
No. What is with offensive coordinators and lining tight ends up against premium pass rushers and saying block him? What's the point? What are we doing? Josh Allen was like, I'm looking by. You can't block me, and I throw you to the side.
Right. There's only one explanation. Offensive coordinators want that ball out. If you don't do that, that's what happens. You let Josh Allen to you
again. Another problem. Put guys on Keenan Allen. The ball's not coming out quick. It's not going to come out quick.
Exactly. Let's see. Lev, I'm so thankful for McKinnon's superhuman ability to throw chip blocks. Right? Like they could use a little bit of that right now. Man, I tell you what.
Oh, wow.
Okay, maybe I'm behind now.
Now you're behind?
This is 3rd and 11. Snap.
Oh, yeah.
You're about
you're
behind.
You're a good 10 seconds now.
All right, here we go. Folks, this is an ongoing technology farce here. We're going to be
No one's even covering him. What is going on? It's 3rd and 11. Where do you think the ball's going to go?
Who else do they have? Okay,
nobody.
So there's Kelly with a 2-yard gain. They had him in the backfield. Now am I close?
Now you're ahead of me.
Now you're about 5 seconds ahead.
Yeah.
I can't win for losing. This is going to be our next platform. We're going to build something that we can simulcast this stuff. So
that'd be nice.
That'd be cool.
program. If you guys are API gurus that can get us in, I will hire some developers. We will build something ourselves. Let's start a whole new platform, folks.
Nice. Love it.
How about how do you guys not recall the Jaguars being down 27-10 and the Cowboys won? Yeah, hey, they're the comeback kids. They got skills. Dan, look at you lifting people's
I'm
spirits.
trying. We got to try, man. This is not looking great. It's not looking good.
No, they've managed to go down, 40, 50 yards?
All right.
Methodically.
Well, this is really not good.
$8.52. Okay. Dang. Okay, so that. Good Lord.
Yeah, Palmer's a pesky little receiver for the Chargers. He's just kind of
That's a good way to
always
put it.
there.
He's not even that good, and he's just like open.
Pesky is a great word for it.
He kind of reminds me a little bit of kind of how Albert Wilson would play.
Just gutsy, right?
Yeah.
Doug looks like he's pretty frustrated.
Yeah, you're gonna need a turnover. You're gonna need something to right the ships here.
What I like about Doug Pederson, though, is that he has a pretty steady demeanor from everyone that I've ever spoken to. I've never been in the room with him, but I know people that have. And so if he does have to light some fire at halftime, I feel like that's a message that's going to be received. Hell of a PBI right there. That was impressive. You guys will see it here coming up now.
Oh, okay.
Oh, almost got deflected for a pick, too.
I will take that. Jeff Porter's in the house. Everybody say hi to Jeff.
Oh, what up, Jeff?
Our friends that contributes from time to time. Jeff, I need to get a call with you because I got lists, man. I got stats we got to start working on.
Yeah, we got to roll.
Yeah, yeah. Dan's like, are you done yet? Yeah, I'm working on it. Kurt, you're not out of it yet. I'll tell you that.
All right.
Okay. They hold here. How optimistic are you? Down 20-0 halfway
Way
through.
to break that block there.
I mean, they got to show some life on offense.
Yep.
For me to have any hope. That's it. You have to show life on offense. You can't go 3 and out again. You can't. You can't throw a pick. You can't do anything.
Got to get points on the board. As far as I'm concerned, you got to get points on the board on this next possession.
Yep.
Now, you got one more play. You got to stop him first, though.
And again, we got people ruining it in the chat.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's not you. It's just again. I don't understand. What's so difficult?
So Bill was saying that the Chargers and Chiefs is not the match I was looking for. That said, KC shouldn't be scared or isn't scared. Mahomes and Superman and Andy Reid is off a bye like Batman with prep time. I hope so. I've grown a little bit wary of the whole coming off the bye thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't feel as steady to me. By the way, I just jumped on a bit ago. It was great to see the 3 starting 4 plays of the RGR football team. Yes. Seth will have to be our quarterback because I don't know what else we could do. Gary, can you throw a ball?
I mean, I can put some spin on it, but I don't have the greatest I don't have the strongest arm as far as, I'm not going to be throwing the ball 60 yards down the field. I'll tell you that much.
Well, I will tell you this. I'll be able to block. I'll knock down the competition. No one will get to you.
I'll just run downfield. Don't worry.
Yeah,
Don't
my
worry.
fabulous will be out there. Our all-star tight end, Mr. Harms here. The problem is if we play KCSN, they got a real quarterback on there. That's the real deal, I got to tell you.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that.
No. In fact, I had a good conversation with BJ the other day. You guys, we'll have to get together with the KCSN guys at some point. That would be pretty fun.
Yeah.
Jeff,
So
I'm glad
Dan-
to hear it and relieved a little bit, buddy.
Dan, I don't know if you were there or you heard it, but I think Ryan was doing a live stream. Was it last night, I think? and pretty much someone asked who would win on a 4-on-4 flag football matchup between us, RGR contributors, and KCSN.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know. All I'm gonna say is that I'm the biggest person on either team.
Yeah.
On either team.
You are my Gronk.
Just throw it up.
See, because BJ and
Just
I are
throw it
close in
up.
age too, so I don't feel like I'm the only older dude too. So I'm fat and old, but they go together sometimes. Oh,
Just throw bombs to the end zone. I mean, no one can cover me.
I'll meet you at the crossbar. Thank you for being here. Be careful driving, please. Let's see here. Remember when we were all down 24-0? That's a very good point. It was a wild card game, FLDB. Thank you very much. And everybody give FLDB a hand for setting up our Discord and making sure that we can do this thing right. Hopefully my audio is still stable. The wife says I'm doing okay, so you guys let me know if there's any problems.
It's a little quieter, but it's a little tiny bit better for me. But
Need me to. I can get all up in this stuff here.
Now you sound like an airline pilot.
Welcome as we descend into your favorite destination. Beers are on me. Let's see. Challenge KCSN to a Tecmo Bowl. Yeah, that would be classic. I like that.
man, that's
Okay.
old school. I can't play like video games anymore with those games. It has to be the old school stuff. Like give me Madden 2004. Madden 2004, the perfect game.
Okay. Brenda, thank you for saying that. I don't know that Jason comes out of retirement for a match against KCSN guys, but
I mean, I'm sure we could convince him.
let's see. Assuming we play the Chargers, Michael is asking, what do we do different so we don't have to wait for the last second win? I mean, honestly, you just don't take your foot off the gas. You hit them where it hurts fast. And that is right across the middle. You make those linebackers come down. I'm a big fan of Ken Murray. I was when he came out as well. He's grown into his role after a little bit of a hesitation, but he's still susceptible. I think they clearly have everything at the second level and beyond down the middle of the field. I think that they can attack successfully.
Yeah, they got to get these linebackers moving around, especially if you're going to play man coverage. I think they're going to play a little more. They would play more man coverage against KC because of obvious reasons. But I do think the addition of McCole Hardman and Kadarius Toney might change a few things in what the Chargers defense would have to do because the speed back. I mean, McCole Hardman's going to be healthy, so.
Whew.
There's a nice hit.
It's all in the details right now for the Chargers from what I'm seeing. It's all the little things, understanding the ball in space, understanding where to attack, not only the receiver, but the blockers that they're going after. It just feels like the comfort level and the preparation level are at the same level for the Chargers, and is not the case for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
They look like they're running all their offense into what the Chargers are doing. Like everything is just right into coverage, everything.
And they're continuing to press the physicality, knowing that they're not getting. This is the inexperience at work. You don't get man calls as much in the playoffs. DBs are allowed to play harder and with more contact in the postseason. That is purely a function of not understanding that because you've never been in the playoffs if you're Trevor Lawrence. And I think that's part of the problem here. Although that complaint I understand, like that one was pretty bad. Doug is mad, and I don't blame him.
Yeah.
This is what's going to happen, by the way. If the Chargers do win this game, this is exactly what they're going to do next week, too. They're going to play physical man coverage against the Chiefs, and they're going to hold. They're not going to get calls either because it's the playoffs.
Yep.
So you got to find ways to get the ball out. You got to get it in space and force your better playmakers in space to make plays. That's what you're going to have to do.
No.
Asante Samuel with another pick.
No.
My goodness.
They're pressing.
So I'm just going to start drinking. Folks, if you came here to watch that, then you're probably in good shape because this ball game is
over.
Good Lord. That is sorry, FLDB.
I think it's not you. It's not you. It's the people in the chat.
Okay. Well, I keep saying things quicker than I probably should, so I feel bad.
You're hosting. You're allowed to. This is literally what we're supposed to do.
Oh, man. Yeah. I mean, I'd love to find something positive to say here.
That's 3, by the way, for Asante Samuel Jr. It's 3.
Yeah,
It's not 2. It's 3.
I mean,
And the Jaguars just had a good return to start that drive, and then they go and squander it. Offensively, they're pooping the bed entirely.
that's a really nice way of putting it.
Yeah.
There are Hall of Famers that don't have 3 interception games. I'm just going to put it that way.
Wow.
Man.
Yeah. I'm not really sure what else to say about this right now. This is not what I expected at all. I expected them to be more prepared.
Yeah, I completely agree. And there are going to be people that are going to put this on Doug Pederson. I gotta take umbrage with that. I don't think there's a flaw in the game plan necessarily. There might be a flaw in how long it's taking to make some adjustments here. But this is performance. This is decision making by the quarterback, and this is receivers not understanding how to work back to the ball because DBs are allowed to be more physical with them.
I also think that this is a good reminder that he inherited a bad roster, a very bad roster, one that Urban Meyer put together. So there is they weren't supposed to win the division this year. They weren't even supposed to make the playoffs. They did win the division. They are ahead of schedule. This is much like the Seahawks. They were much better in the first half against the 49ers, but they weren't supposed to be in the playoffs this year. They are because they had above level quarterback play. And guess what? Last 2 months, Trevor Lawrence has had above level quarterback play. But if there's one thing, I'll tell you right now, when you watch Trevor Lawrence, he's so talented. He loves putting the ball in tight windows. He absolutely loves it. He wants to rip it right in there every chance he gets. And so guess what? Play tough, play physical, play good man coverage, play against your guys. You're going to come away with some picks. Asante Samuel, one thing coming out of Florida State, he was excellent at finding the football. Excellent. Like one of the best getting hands-on interception guys coming out of Florida State. So we're seeing the game plan really work in favor of the Chargers. The problem is that the Jaguars aren't getting the ball to the flat or anything. They're not trying to stress the linebackers at all. You're not dump offs. You're not doing any wide receiver screens. You're not doing anything creative. You're just throwing the ball into coverage. Do something different.
And kudos to Asante Samuel Jr. He's overcome the big thing is because he got bullied by bigger receivers. He got moved off the ball and out of position because of that. And he's learned to deal with it in the pros. He's made an evolution here that I don't think people are going to see until tonight, really.
Yeah, that was also a badly thrown ball. It was bad. Yeah. It was located bad.
And Trevor Lawrence is trying to set a record tonight. The most interception ever in a playoff game is 6. And 4 players. He's on pace for at least 8. So he could notch himself in the record book with that one. But the 4 quarterbacks that threw 6 picks in a playoff game, none of them won, obviously. Norm Van Brocklin was one, Bobby Lane, Frank Filchock, and then good old Brett Favre in 2000.
There you go, Brett. There's another record for you. Wish I could say something on the stream that I can't say.
Oregon, you have a good point here. Everyone will think that it's going to be the Chargers next week, and then boom. If somebody upsets one of those teams, lowest seed comes to Kansas City next week, and that's what we have to remember here. Kurt, sorry about that, buddy. Yeah, it does look like that's most likely the case.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And, hey, I hate NFL. I get you, but you're still here watching NFL with us? But, hey, it does feel like you see Georgia all over again. And, Mo, no, I don't think so. They don't seem to be prepared for the raising level, not only with the physicality from the players, but from the fact that the refs aren't going to call it.
Yeah. And that's remember, maybe 2 or maybe about a month and a half ago that we talked about this specifically with Joshua Williams. Remember this in the postseason when he's a little more physical. Go back and watch last week's game. Jalen Watson against Devontae Adams. He was physical. He was allowed to play more physical at the line of scrimmage. I have a couple of clips on Twitter about him. The one that he broke up on the 4th down in the end zone. He was manhandling Devontae Adams. He had to actually bench press Watson off of him. He couldn't separate because he was being so physical. The Chiefs corners are going to play well in the postseason because they're taught to play this way. You get a couple flags in the regular season, that does not matter.
Postseason comes around, you better channel your inner Rashad Fenton.
Just keep that up. Hey, listen,
I wouldn't go that far.
I'm going to put this up for a minute, and then I'm going to let Dan take over the stream as I'm going to step away for a minute because dinner is ready.
All right.
This is going to be one of the fun things about this, but this was a comment for you, Dan, and I'll be back in a few.
All right. Thank you, Collie. So, oh, man. If MVS has a career game next week, I don't know what I'll do. But I'll do something for you guys. I will. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be, but I'll do something crazy because I can't imagine that actually happening. Yeah, FLDB, you're right. Chargers left tackle got hurt. That is Jeremy Slayer out of Georgia, or Sailor, Sally, or whatever his name is, however you pronounce his last name. He has been excellent in, bringing in for Rashawn Slater, who is legitimately a great tackle. So we'll see if that has any impact on the game. 36.
Yeah, that's bad news for the Chargers because, it looks like they're going to be ahead. And here's Foster Sorrell, first season, so it must be a rookie. And
yeah.
I wonder, the Chargers seem to always have more injuries than the other team. And I always thought, it had something to do with their athletic training or just their medical staff. But the more I think about it, the more I wonder if it has to do with the fact that they've played on turf for so long.
Maybe.
And maybe that's part of why they're always injured.
Maybe.
Oh. Now, this is going to have to get looked at. Did the Charger player touch it first, or did Jacksonville player touch it first?
Yeah, I don't know. On my screen, it looked like the Charger player did.
They're saying Jacksonville touched it first because they're
interesting
giving them the possession.
Here we go. Jeez.
I guess they got jealous that Lawrence was hogging all the turnovers to themselves. Oh, hit him right in the head. Oh, my gosh, it's so embarrassing. And he didn't even know it.
Oh, no. No, man. No, this is the single worst thing I've ever seen happen to a team. It's the worst thing I've ever seen happen to a team. And Jamal Agnew still almost came up with it. My goodness. They can't fall. I'll tell you right now, the Chargers are getting a lot of turnover luck. Typically that stuff comes home to roost, but we'll see what happens. What is this still up for?
5 turnovers in the first half. I'm going to look up that stat and see if that's ever happened before in a playoff game.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, y'all. We're all feeling pretty hurt right now for the Jacksonville Jaguars, for Doug Pederson. Try to say something nice to Doug before halftime here. I imagine that he's going to implode at halftime. So we'll kind of see what happens here. Oof. Yeah, lots of talk. Chargers get the ball first half. Yeah, started the second half too. You're right, FLDB. Whoa, that's just not good. I mean, you can't. It's hard to overcome 5 turnovers. Let's be honest with this. Like, it's not easy, and you can't ever game plan for 5 turnovers. You never see that kind of stuff happen. Man, I feel for Doug Pederson right now. I really do. They've done such a great job this season. Josh Allen out there trying to pump the crowd up still. Like, that's going out and fighting, trying to do something here. Let's see what they do on 3rd and goal. At least you try to get something. Try and get something. Jeez. All right, for me, they're at 4:31, and they're just about to snap the ball.
So I am about 3 seconds ahead of you.
Yeah, no biggie. All right, so they did force a field goal attempt. How long has it been since the Jags in the last playoffs? Has to have been David Garrard, right?
Is this the first game that we've done a live stream like this?
Yeah, we've never done like another game. We actually never even covered a game live before. So yeah, this is the first one.
Well, this is a good one to start with.
Yeah, right. The luck of the draw right there. Yeah, when was the last Jacksonville Jaguars playoff game?
While you're looking that up, amazingly, with those 5 turnovers, it's actually the 43rd most. How do I say this? Yeah, the 43rd most turnovers in an NFL playoff game. That means there have been teams that have gotten – there are 42 teams that had more than 5.
Mm-hmm.
So that's impressive. I wouldn't have thought that would have been the case. A lot of these are distributed throughout, the history of the NFL playoffs. The most ever in a playoff game, which the Jaguars are on pace to break this, is 9.
Oh, man.
And 4 teams did that. And what do you know? That same Washington team from 1940 that lost 0-73.
Jeez.
They were one of those teams. But then the most recent were the Buffalo Bills in 1993. And this might have been a Super Bowl game. This was a Super Bowl game. So the Super Bowl for the 1992 season, the Buffalo Bills turned the ball over 9 times.
Wow.
Versus the Cowboys and lost 17-52.
All right. So yeah, I did forget. Honestly, I blacked out the whole Blake Bortles era of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I forgot they went to the AFC Championship game against the Patriots. And I think it was 2017. I know people are talking about it in the chat. Yes, I do believe that that was the year, because 2018 was the year that they came into Arrowhead talking a lot of crap, a lot of smack, and they got beat the crap out of. So yeah, that was fun. So yeah. I really did. I just kind of blanked out the whole Blake Bortles situation in my mind, and I forgot about him. So very forgettable team up until right now. We'll see how they can try and bounce back, try and get some points here on this drive that they're going to have, because you got to do something. You can only chip away. You can only hope. We've seen fourth quarters, we've seen third quarters where offenses score 28 points, 21 points. Just you got to find ways to take a little positive plays and turn it over at halftime. I know that the Chargers get the ball, but I mean, I don't really know what else to say in this situation. We know that the Chiefs have been in this situation. So we do know that while it was the Chiefs offense that did it, it's not every team that can just go down and do what the Chiefs did, scoring 50 points off of that. So again, you got to find something to go right here. Got to find something.
So the most turnovers in a playoff game, Jacksonville with these 5 hasn't even set a franchise record yet. They've got one more to tie their turnover total back in, I believe it was the 1999 playoffs in a matchup versus the Tennessee Titans. And that was the year that the Rams won the Super Bowl in that crazy last play.
Oh, yeah. All right. Wow. Dan, what do you think of Mixon saying the Bengals are the big dogs in the AFC and everyone knows it? Well, so let's just get something clear out of the way. I believe that the Bengals, to this point, have been playing the best football in the NFL to right now. I fully believe that statement, okay? They are not the big dogs in the AFC until you go to 4 straight AFC Championship games and you host 4 straight AFC Championship games. That's just how it is. Like, I understand that the Bengals right now are on a high. They got to the Super Bowl last year. They caught fire at the right time. I understand all of those things. The Chiefs they have a Super Bowl. They've been to another one in the last 4 years, and the Bengals got to one last year and don't have a win. So until they do, I don't think that we're going to be able to just give them the big dogs. Like, that's not how it works. I will say that they have been playing the best football in the NFL to this point since they started off 0-2.
If you're the big dog, you don't go around telling people you're the big dog. You just are.
Exactly. You just are. No one needs to hear you. No one needs to hear it. What number is greater this week? Lawrence's interceptions or Andy Reid's cheeseburgers? That's a great question. Let's get some over-unders here. on Andy Reid cheeseburgers he's had this week. What's happening? What is happening in this game?
I mean, this is an absolute collapse. We're watching the Titanic sink right in front of our very eyes.
Good Lord. The timing is all off. Lawrence is stepping through a throw. His back foot's off the ground. He's a mess. The offense is a mess. Whew. Have they even had a drive?
I don't think so. Let me see what their longest drive was in the game.
So to answer your question, I'm going to go ahead and say that the greater number is Trevor Lawrence's interceptions. I don't know if Andy Reid's had as many.
So thus far through the game, Trevor Lawrence is 5 for 18 for 35 yards and 4 interceptions. That is horrific.
Yeah. I'm sorry, did you say how many first downs they have? I didn't quite hear.
No, let me see. They have 4 first downs.
Okay, so they actually have a first down. That's good.
Yeah, but they are 0 for 6 on third down. And really, that's been the deal. They haven't been able to convert it third down, and then they've obviously given the ball away like it's Halloween candy.
Yeah, that's really a bad combination there. So looks like we're going to be playing the Chargers. What is your thoughts on playing them 3 times this season? Playing a team 3 times is always difficult, especially a team that you know as well as, these two teams know each other. And Justin Herbert is really playing good football right now. I think that he's it's kind of funny what they're doing. Last week they played the Broncos and they got destroyed in a meaningless game where their starters play. They come into the postseason, and this game against the Jaguars defense, which we know isn't great, he looks really good. But again, I don't really think that their defense is this good. I think we all know the Chargers kind of fit a mold. And if you can prevent them from doing that, then you'll be all right.
So it looked like they were working on Salyer on the sideline there, and he was working on his push, and did not look comfortable in doing so. But it's a good sign to see him, up and moving around, not sitting on the bench or locker room.
Oh, apparently Bandy did not think he was getting that football. He tried to get out of the way. Look, did you see him move his shoulder out of the way?
Yeah, and that's really the first miscue I've seen by the Chargers.
All right. 2-minute drill. Come on, Trevor. 2-minute drill, Trevor. Come on. All right. Man, this is rough. All right. I'm sorry, but pass interference is not being called, and the Chargers are playing touchy, pushy. Missed a few missed calls. So this is playoff football. I don't know how else to say it. This is pretty commonplace in the NFL, especially when they kind of set the precedent earlier coming into the season that they were going to be more allowing of hand fighting between receiver and cornerback. They have set the precedent for this postseason to get away with a lot more pushing and shoving, especially when it's not an obvious grab of the jersey. It's not an obvious grab of anything. And that's what they want. They want to have competitors competing. And when you have, I'm going to tell you guys right now, Christian Kirk has been schemed really well in this offense. The passing offense is built around him. He's still not a very good receiver. He really isn't. He is exactly what he is. He's a 3. He's a slot guy. You have Zay Jones and Marvin Jones as your 2 outside receivers. They can't create separation. They're not very good receivers. Zay Jones has been on 4 different teams. Marvin Jones has been on 3 different teams. And I like Marvin Jones, but he's not a number 1 receiver. He's the number 2, number 3 guy. So you have an offense that's built to have to be schemed to the max to get something going. And then Trevor Lawrence, who likes to throw things into tight windows, that creates a bad situation for an offense that doesn't come into the game with a really good game plan to try and scheme things up and play into man coverage.
Yeah, and the Chargers came into this game looking to stop the run. You could tell that early on in the game. Linebackers were doing a good job filling gaps, and they took away that element of the Jaguars offense. And then you see them have to go to those receivers who are outmatched by the Chargers secondary. And this is what you get.
Yep, you're definitely right about that.
Lawrence plays a big part in this puzzle because he's been throwing so many interceptions, but it's not like he's had guys that are open down the field. That's what happens whenever you throw, over and over again in tight contested windows. You're going to be 5 for 18 and only have 35 yards. So I don't know what the Jaguars can do to shake up what they're doing on offense in this game. It looks like, just from what I've been seeing, it looks like they're playing a lot of man beaters and the Chargers are switching to zone, and then they're playing zone beaters and the Chargers are in man. That's why you saw so many plays where the Jaguars receivers coming across the middle of the field, and whoa, there's a Charger defender right in his area. So they misread that defense. And so this is maybe something that the Chargers are doing defensively in this game, really doing a good job masking their looks, confusing Lawrence, keeping him from being able to diagnose what's going on the defensive side of the ball. And lo and behold, he's throwing to areas of the field that he shouldn't be throwing to. And it's just a total cluster, dash.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like what you said there, because that I think that's the third pick that he had where he's throwing it to that one right there that I just saw to Ingram. They're running crossers, and you got guys sitting in zone, and it's like he doesn't identify that it's zone, or they're disguising it well. Obviously, I can't see what they're doing pre-snap because I don't have all 22 on this, but I know that when you're having an offense that has trouble with the scheme, it's an issue. You're not identifying pre-snap what it is, and you're throwing there's at least a good idea. That's what I've been asking for you guys. And guess what? You get 11 yards on first down when you stretch the defense and you stretch his linebackers out.
Yeah, and that takes pressure off Lawrence too. It's an easy completion, get some positive yardage out of it. And, I would want to try to go back to that a little more. But there you have it again. Zay Jones out there not moving back towards the ball, out there flat-footed, and the defender just easily puts his hand in there and knocks the ball away.
Yep.
Just receiver play in this game has been really poor.
Yeah. It's been real bad. All right. Angry Drunken German. If Pederson can rebuild Lawrence at halftime, he's coach of the year. What do you even say? No, you're right. If they can find a way to come back and win this game, I 100% would just hand it to him. Just hand it to him. Danny, I have Kirk and I've had Ridley on IR all year in Dynasty. Should I try and sell Kirk high this offseason or try to hold on to him? If sell, how much should I look to get him for? So this is a dynamic question, because I do think you should be selling Christian Kirk at any possible time to do it. Right now is the best time. He's had the best season of his career. So try to do it. The problem is that you're probably not getting like a low-end first-round pick for him. You're probably going to be able to get a second-round pick, and I think that that's enough. But if you're trying to get a player, maybe try and get like a lower-end RB2 or a guy you can see that's a younger player that you can see getting a bigger role. It's hard for me to say exactly what you can get for a Christian Kirk, especially because everyone's going to have different valuations of the player, different valuations of what they think that they should give for him. But I would try to, if you're getting go for a pick, I would try to get a second round pick for him right now.
Yeah, and to add to that, that Kirk's targets are maximized this year. One of the first things the Jaguars are going to do in this offseason is look for help at wide receiver. So then his target share is going to drop because of that. Whoever they bring in is just going to make a hit on what Kirk's production was this year. So if you can get rid of him, I would too. As far as players you could get out of it, that's beyond me.
Going to test this mic. Switched over to the backup headset. How does this sound?
Hey, that's better.
You are rocking.
Yeah? Okay, rock and roll. I'm trying. Thank you for covering there, gentlemen.
Yeah, no problem.
Wife brought the wings home, so I had a couple of those. Switch out the mic. Trying to get things done. What I don't see getting done is any serious change to what the Jaguars are doing.
Well, they did finally stress the edges of the defense a little bit. The first play of this drive was a little swing pass to Travis Etienne and got 11 yards. So, yeah, they tried.
I'll take it.
They were also able to somehow get hit in the head with a ball that was punted and turn it over that way. So
they turned it over again.
Unique ways to, shoot themselves in the foot, which I've appreciated.
Get points here, and I got to feel like you've got the momentum a little bit.
I think you got to go for it, though. Yeah, they're going for it. Okay.
Yeah, it's what I'm at 36 seconds here, 1st and 10.
Oh, yeah, I'm not. I haven't even seen the fourth down play yet.
They finally had a receiver find an
There's
open
a first
spot in the
down.
zone.
There it is. There's the first down. Thank you, Ryan. I got that much from what you said. I appreciate it, though.
I'm here. I'm on pause. I'm gonna try to fix this again.
I'm at 31, and then they just stopped the play, so that's where I'm.
Okay. All right. I'm at the same timeout here. Lawrence is walking off the field. There we go. Jags did get a break. Tracy, thank you. If they can take advantage of this. Yeah, sorry, German. Sometimes you just got to call it like you see it. Okay, I'm glad it sounds like the audio is better. I'm glad I had this one. This one has a tendency to cut out at times as well, so that's why I wasn't using it initially. So we'll try to figure out what's going on. I may have to go back to the other. I'll turn the fan and power up. I don't think I had that on before, so we'll figure it out.
All right. Come on, Jacksonville. Get yourselves a touchdown here and just get some momentum going into halftime.
Do something.
All right. At least that's a completion there.
Yeah, exactly. You're managing. You're in the lion's den, but you haven't been eaten yet. I do agree with Tony Dungy here. Like it is 7 or bust.
Yeah,
I don't know that 3 does enough to make me feel good about going into the half.
Yeah, and then the Chargers get the ball too to start the second half. Which Jacksonville's defense has kind of shown a little backbone here.
There we go.
There it is. All right.
So-
here we go.
A thing that I notice here is that it looks like it's coming on to more of the 3-by-1 formations. Looks like Doug has made an adjustment, and looks like we get to get confirmation from the man himself because Matt Derrick is here to join
Let's
us.
go.
How are you, Matt?
I don't know if I can confirm anything. I just finished up dinner with the family and wanted to pop in with you guys and tuned in to see a barnstorm of a ball game here. So
Right.
glad I could see the Jaguars finally show up. Apparently,
Hey.
Sometimes the bus is a little late, okay? Sometimes it's a little late. It arrived late for the Chiefs against Houston a few years ago. Sometimes you never know.
well, that limb that I was out on and predicting the Jaguars were going to win this game has firmly snapped behind me.
Oh, absolutely.
I was with you. You're not alone.
My faith in Doug Pederson has been mistreated tonight.
Well, I will say this. I do feel like getting the momentum here at the end of the half. Lawrence looks like he's finally settled down to me, and I wonder what Doug can do next to then take that next evolution and try to get him more productive. 20-point deficit. Does anybody feel like this game's over?
I technically never say NFL playoff games are over, but this is a steep one. 27 points down to steep one to come back from. So
it's 20 points now. We've kind of seen offenses, even the Jags this year, score 20 points in bunches in a quarter. It's going to come down to their defense and maybe not turning the football over. If they don't turn the football over, they will have a chance to be in the game. But I would say it's probably leaning more to 90% over than I'm going to say that the Jags come back and win this game. I'll give them 10% chance.
This is a good point from W and MB. Appreciate you. Yes, Matt has not been on RGR that much because this is kind of the tomfoolery side of what we do. So Matt's decided to graciously join us tonight.
I mean, we're in full tomfoolery mode because I'm like moving stuff away from my cat playing with it, so it's not making sounds in the background. So
this is the real hanging out with your friends watching the ball game kind of stuff tonight, folks. Cats included. All right, so we get through a half. It's a 20-point deficit. Chargers get the ball in the second half. What do they have to do? Gary, first thing that you want to see them try when they come back out.
Yeah, so I thought that we saw some good things from Pederson here on that last drive from Lawrence and company. They started diagnosing what the defense was doing. They changed the personnel a little bit. So early on in the game, I was talking to Dan while you were gone. It looked like they were running, misfit offensive plays what the defense was giving them. I think that the Chargers defense was disguising things really well, and that was causing the Jaguars a hard time interpreting what kind of plays they should run. But we just saw 2 throws that were made where a player sat down in the right spot of the zone. Lawrence found them. They were able to move the ball. The defense has gotten a little bit more of a backbone. You know, they've made a couple of stops here or there. So if they don't turn the ball over, have some type of Herculean turnaround in the second half, and they keep doing the things they did towards the end of the first half, maybe we got a shot to have an interesting game. But they're down 20 points, and really unlikely that they're going to come back from this one, in my opinion. But I'm not throwing in the towel.
Well, it's funny because Doug Pederson just basically said what we've been saying, that he finally got to the settled point where he can actually produce. That is Trevor Lawrence, and that they need to keep chipping away at the stone. Matt, do you think that can get them back in this game?
I mean, I gotta agree with that take. I mean, it's this. I don't know what you can do at this point to come back in this game because, yeah, there have been times that Trevor Lawrence has scored in bunches, but I just don't see it happening against a defense like this, and especially after you turn over the football 4 times the first half.
Yeah.
I mean, what has Trevor Lawrence to say he got to be at this point? I mean, it can't be in good shape. I mean, and you know, I wouldn't put it, Doug, to just roll the dice in the second half. We've seen him do it before. I mean, I'm sure the Chargers will see the onside kick coming in the second half, so I don't know if you can pull any surprises there. But I mean, the sad thing is that, you know, to get this offense stabilized, I think you almost have to run the football, and running the football isn't going to get you 20 points back. At this point, if you're the Jacksonville, you can't try and get all 20 points back at once. To me, you've got to play defense, because if you're going to make a comeback in this game, it is not going to be because your offense just puts 35 points on the board. It's because your defense plays some solid football, gets some turnovers itself, gets things going. If they can't get that going right off the bat, there's no hope. I mean, to me, it's got to be a defensive led comeback. I don't see Trevor Lawrence putting the bag on his back and getting it done.
I gotta hope. I mean, that's what he's here for, right? He's supposed to be a generational talent.
Yeah,
Let me see it.
Yeah, and I think the drive at the end will help the confidence. Like you're talking about, yeah, the picks are not good, but you end that half on a high note. It's not another pick. That is going to give you something. And like I said, Doug Pederson thinks he might have found something finally. Get to that. The halftime is what that's for, is to build now your offense off of what the Chargers were doing. And now you have the playbook opening up, hopefully, for what you have. So this is going to be something that Matt talked about. Defense has to get at least a turnover. Got to find a way to generate a turnover, quick 3 and out early to start this third quarter off, and then they'll be in it. But the Chargers, they look really good. They look like they came prepared for this game. We'll see if they end up charging, because we do know that is within the realm of possibilities for this football team.
And folks, I don't know if you agree. The wife gave me some feedback that I'm not actually calling the game enough. I will try to do that and add a little bit more color to what's going on.
Better, Ryan.
Yeah, I'm working on it. First time out, you know.
Do you have the express written consent of the National Football League?
You know, hey. I do have a camera feed I can put on, but I didn't want them to flag this stream. So, folks, thank you for bearing with us and doing the 2-screen thing. We do appreciate it. I know it's kind of a weird concept. It's weird for us as well. In terms of, I saw some people asking to put the official time on the screen. This particular screen thing is a collaborative multi-camera site. We don't really have a whole thing that we can put up there without giving away protected content. So we're just going to have to let you know where we're at, basically. Matt, did you know that you have a catchphrase?
I did not know that I have a catchphrase.
That's impressive.
Do I have one?
Yes. A lot of folks seem to recognize the sigh from your appearances on LOC.
Yeah, the sigh is probably a bit of my catchphrase there. I was talking about just giving some color commentary. Watching the highlights here at halftime, because as I mentioned, did not get to see the first half, just was following along on Twitter and online. Finally getting to see it in full color, and man, that was an array of turnovers. I mean,
that's a nice way to put it.
I mean, Trevor kind of did it every which way but loose. I mean, that takes some talent to turn the football over in that many ways, and they apparently were definitely letting these guys play. A little physical, so you got to recognize that and make some adjustments. So I guess that didn't happen. Boy, yeah, those.
Yeah,
was the Chiefs' 2021 season wrapped up in a half. The ball bounced. The ball went.
There were a few of those
every way, but where they wanted it to, off of receivers' hands into the defensive hands. Like that's what that felt like watching that play back right there. And then the one off the top that was the fumble from the punt return. It hit off of one of the Jags players' helmets. He didn't even know what happened. It went right off of his head. And he had no idea. And it gives him the ball on like the 11-yard line. So just unreal bad luck from Jacksonville. So you never know. Half the footballs could be really weird. That was one of the weirder ones I think I've seen in terms of turnover luck.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, even when it is bad luck, and they did turn it over at every which way but loose there. But like I said, I go once again. I mean, the damage that does to a quarterback's psyche. And, I know you've got to keep firing. And I'm sure Doug Pederson, that is exactly the message that he's given to Trevor at halftime is, hey, don't worry about it. Keep firing. Let it loose. We trust you. You're going to get it done. But that's harder to do after you've turned over the football 4 times in the first half. I mean, he's going to be seeing ghost in the second half. It's going to look to him like there's 15 guys back there on defense. And it's going to feel like there's probably 7 guys bearing down on him at all times. I mean, that's rough. That's hard for a quarterback to put behind them. And so let's see what happens. I mean, you certainly need a halftime reset there, but boy, that's tough to come back from. But that's why I say, I mean, it's going to have to start with the defense. I mean, until they get some bricks going their way and they make their own luck, it's all they can do.
Yeah,
well, I feel like the defense actually helped them out. Sorry, Gary, go ahead.
Oh, this is just a good way. I was just going to follow up on what Matt said, but this is a really good way to see what Trevor Lawrence is made of. How do you come back after the second half? Do you have the guts to put something good on the field and not see those ghosts? Does he fall apart? So I'm interested to see how that shakes out in the second half. Sorry, Ryan, go ahead.
No, you're absolutely right. Like, was that last drive just enough to perk him up, to give him enough confidence to turn around? That's going to be the key question. We have a few others, a couple of super chats we're going to answer here as a group. Des, thank you for the support, buddy. Holmes was watching this famine, and like if I don't throw 4 picks, we got the win. Without picks, it would actually be a close game. I can understand that, and Patrick's had runs like this too. Like he's had games where inexplicably there's been turnovers that you didn't expect. I think this is just a bigger lesson to the Chiefs and honestly the playoff field as a whole. It's basic fundamental football. Don't give the ball away, and you keep yourself in ball games. And I think if they can turn that around in the second half, it gives them a better chance. Dan, will that be enough is the question.
It can. I've watched this offense multiple times. They can catch fire, but it's not just the offense. Like Matt was talking about earlier, the defense has to come to play in the second half. And I know they were given a lot of short yardage situations. They forced 2 field goals out of that I saw, that I remember, and it's okay, but you're still giving up too many big plays on 3rd and long. The 3rd and 11 play to Keenan Allen is inexcusable because he's the only guy that can get open and find soft spots in zones on 3rd and 11. You shouldn't let him beat you. This offense has 2 guys that can beat you. It's Keenan Allen and it's Austin Eckler. It's 3rd and 11. You got a good shot at getting Austin Eckler at 3rd and 11. A good shot. Keenan Allen down the field, you got to just stop him from doing that. So the defense has to do something differently in the second half. I know that Jeremy Salyer is going to be out possibly for the second half. Attack him. Attack that backup to the backup. Send some blitzes off that side. Overload the left side of the offensive line. Get to Justin Herbert. That's what the that's what the Jaguars are going to have to do to get their defense in some of those 3rd long situations and maybe force a turnover.
Yeah, try to cut off the Chargers' luck because Sawyer has played better than anybody expected, even me, and I was a big proponent of him in last year's draft class. But can you hit that again? There's almost no way. Yeah. So do you overload that? Do you change your entire scheme? I think pressure is always pressure. Herbert has an ability to really withstand pressure, though. And so I think there's got to be a deceptive factor in the backfield as well. I don't know that Eckler's enough right now. I don't know what he's churning out per carry at this moment. I can look that up real quick. But
4.4.
Okay, 4. Thank you, Matt. See, this is why you're the professional. I don't know that that's enough to make me feel like that's going to hurt him. So I really do feel that it's about squashing what's available to Justin Herbert in the second half, Matt. Will that do enough that you think can buy them a couple of possessions to maybe get back in it if they can execute on the offensive side?
I mean, like I keep saying, I'm just going off the numbers here of the first half, and I did let out one of my patented sighs when I saw that not only was the 4 turnovers, but they're -5.
Yeah.
The Jacksonville offense is 0 for 7 on third down. I mean, the Chargers have run 40 offensive plays. I mean, the good news, they've only averaged 4.5 yards a play. I mean, I would I think that somewhat that's indicative of the fact that, the Chargers have had short fields. They don't have to move the ball in chunks or anything. But it does look like Jacksonville's defense has been doing a decent job. But 40 plays in the first half, that's another reset at halftime. So you've got to get the Chargers off the field in this opening drive. I mean, this can't be a sustained drive. This can't be, 7-10 plays. Keep your defense out there for 5 minutes. This needs to be a 3-and-out. You got to start right there if you're Jacksonville. If you can't get that done, I mean, it's going to be tough. But I mean, I'm looking at this and just looking at the numbers and looking at what the Chargers are doing. I mean, looking towards the future, nothing they're doing tonight scares me because this game has been handed to them. I mean, this is not necessarily anything that they're doing to beat Jacksonville. Jacksonville is beating themselves at this point.
Yeah, that's what we kind of talked about, right?
The Jaguars are lucky, I think, to be down 20 points in this game after everything we saw with the 5 turnovers. I mean, really, it could be 45-0. It could be much worse than the 20-point deficit that they're seeing now, just for all the reasons that Matt just mentioned.
I think this is crazy. I just counted up. There's 9 possessions for the Los Angeles Chargers already. 9.
We were counting the exact same thing. And I'm like, okay, they got 9 possessions. I think they scored on 5 of them, settled for a couple of field goals, which, that's a good job, Jacksonville, especially when you give the ball up at the 6 and you hold them to a field goal. Good job.
Yeah,
but
I'll take that.
But I'm with Gary. I mean, I'm looking at this box score and I'm like, gosh, I mean, 5 turnovers, 0 for 7 on third down. I mean, you're giving up 5 of 10 on third downs. Chargers, I mean, they should have 300 yards of offense and probably be at 41-0 at this point.
Yeah, that's kind of my feeling as well. And I think Josh Allen's not alone. There are other guys pulling weight on that particular defense. Joe, thank you very much. Appreciate the support, buddy. And that's kind of where we're at. Do something. You staunched the bleeding at least. You got it packed. Maybe it's with mud. Maybe you can get a tourniquet on there. I don't know. But you got to start producing something with your other 3 limbs here real quick.
Yeah, they just got to get some. Like I said, that's why I thought the touchdown was positive. It was the last thing that happened in that game or in that half. Hopefully, as a quarterback in the NFL, Trevor Lawrence can compartmentalize what just happened. Okay, the last thing I went out there, it was a touchdown. The interceptions are behind me. Obviously, you see a couple deflections, some inaccurate ball placements, things you can correct in the second half. I know Doug Pederson is going to be sitting with him the rest of the game. The halftime speech, whatever he said, is going to be able to, I would imagine, get him on the right track because this is not necessarily new for Trevor Lawrence. He loves to push the ball into tight windows, as I've said multiple times. So there's always the possibility for an interception when you throw the ball in some of the tight windows that he does. So I think that he's just got that mentality, much like we see Andy Reid with Patrick Mahomes at times, just to keep shooting. Like, this is the basketball analogy. Keep taking those threes. They're going to eventually just going to start falling. I do think that you do got to run it a little bit, but maybe take some of the run game and turning them into those swing passes, screens, get the ball out quickly so you can gain some of that confidence.
Well, Austin Eckler's rushing average is going down right now.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's now dropped to 3.4 after one play. That was a rough start to the second half for the Chargers, but they would appear to be, going fairly conservative here.
Okay, so Matt's clearly seen a play I have not.
Yeah, Matt's way ahead of us.
Oh, then you're going to love that opening run that went absolutely nowhere. That.
Yeah, okay. There we go. That's a 5-yard
loss. Thank you, Joe, and say what we appreciate you. Yeah, that's the thing. Rise up. Don't make it too easy on them. And part of it, it's not that I'm rooting against the Chargers. I think the Chargers match up better against the Chiefs, and that's why I'd like to see the Jaguars advance here. But it's also the fact that playing a team in a division 3 times in a year is tough. And now, at 2nd and 14, they get a quick completion over the middle. Looks like the Jacksonville second level is converging a little bit more. Looks like they dropped a safety down there. I like that move.
Did they not tackle? Did they not tackle in the first half? Because you'll eventually see some tackling issues here.
Okay. So third down isn't our friend yet.
So third down is not their friend. And then a penalty to boot. So.
Oh yeah, just a little bit of everything.
I saw some feedback about my mic being too hot. So if it is still too hot or not loud enough, let me know because I did do a tweak. So.
Okay, cool. Thank you for that. I even missed the comment, but cheers. You sound fine to me. Okay, yeah. So I see what you're saying there, Matt. Thank you for the preview. He allows me to pick up on things when you've already told me what's going on.
The benefits of over the antenna.
Right?
Can't watch football if it's not over the antenna because that 45-second lag on streaming kills me.
Some of us don't have a choice, Matt. Some of us on satellite is as good as it gets.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to be able to, show off.
It's good to be in market too. Now, I will say this too. They showed a little bit there on the first possession. That first down kind of might take the sail out of the wind out of their sails, but they got to buck up right now. Everett's a guy that's been up and down, so I wonder if that's something they can take advantage of here. I think they'll try to go back to him when he's back in the ball game. Keenan Allen. Matt's already seen this, of course. For another first snap.
Yeah, the numbers are bad on that side of the field. All Herbert has to do is look over there and see the numbers, and it's an easy completion to Allen. It gets 10 yards. It's too easy.
Yeah, it is pitch and catch at that point. And honestly, I don't know that challenging Justin Herbert visually is necessarily going to pay off, but I gotta try that out if I'm the secondary in Jacksonville. I got to try to give him a look that he thinks he's going to get something and then switch it up on him. Try to confuse him somewhat.
I'd love to see some of these corners come down. Like you're playing off, come down before the snap. Like do something.
Walk it up. Give them a bit of hesitation. I agree.
Yeah, and that's what at least I'm seeing a little bit of. I like that. Hey, Jacksonville is trying to the bluff a little bit. They're showing some blitzes. Did bring a blitz on second down that I like. So you'll enjoy watching the blitz coming up.
I was about to say,
I'll try and stop telegraphing everything.
No, it's okay.
Matt Stradamus will walk us through the rest of this ballgame.
I have no issues being walked through it, honestly.
But if you can't get it stop on 3rd and 10 here, Jacksonville, I'm checking out on you. I'm giving up on you.
Another sidearm delivery. They did get that 2nd and 10, although Matt's already well out of this. The question for me is when we take what we see here tonight and we start projecting forward next week to the Chiefs. This is methodical. This is easy, as Gary was saying, pitch and catch. I don't think that I see anything that's pushing the boundaries. Without Mike Williams, who I think is the most severe matchup problem that the Chiefs might face were he there, this performance still doesn't bother me that much. Does it bother any of you guys?
It shouldn't. Again, this is the Chargers offense. Without Mike Williams, they cannot stretch the field. They have zero verticality to their offense. They put Justin Herbert in this box, and they make him be a quarterback in, get the ball out kind of quick, run this Tom Brady-esque offense, and there's at least a 4th down now while I'm talking. That's awesome. It's just so frustrating what Lombardi does to Justin Herbert. He puts this Nerf switch on him and doesn't let him throw the ball downfield. And without Mike Williams, they can't. They cannot do it. But we have seen the Chargers try to against the Chiefs. I'm hoping that they come prepared for at least a couple of double moves from DeAndre Carter if it is the Chargers playing. But I'm not scared of this offense. I'm not.
On the flip side, this punt has come off. They were successful in what we said they had to come out and do at halftime. They were able to keep the Chargers from scoring any points. Now, they're deep in their own territory. But, Matt, for the Jaguars to come out and be methodical, I feel like this is right up Doug Pederson's alley. What he said at halftime going in to the sideline reporter was he wanted to chip away. This is an opportunity to do that, to have a sustained drive, get some momentum, get some physicality in the offensive side. And I think that's the recipe to then accelerate into the 4th quarter. I don't think they have to rush it right now, Matt. Do you think that they have to do something quickly?
No, I mean, chipping away is exactly what you have to do here because if you're Jacksonville, the one thing you can't do is have 3 and outs. You can't set yourself up trying to take shots and setting yourself up into second and long, third and long situations. You've just got to be able to nibble away at this. Even though the temptation is there to try and score quickly because you're down 20 points, no, you've got to be slow here and methodical, because the worst thing that you can do is just immediately give the ball back to the Chargers. They need a sustained drive. They need points out of this drive. You're going to be starting pretty deep in their territory too. So to me, this is, you treat it like it's the first drive of the game. You're coming out, go back to your script, look at what you think is going to work, get to your pet stuff. Maybe he's going to surprise me and come out and, he's just blowing smoke by chipping away, and he's going to try and call for a 75-yard bomb on the first play here. But, you can't get all those points back at once. You've got to keep in the mentality that you're in this for a couple of sustained drives. I still say the only way you're going to get 20 points back is by creating some turnovers. You can't count on, 3 80-yard drives.
Yeah.
But, no, the last thing you can do here is go 3 and out. You've got to run 7 to 8, 10 plays. You got to get into Charger territory. You need some points, period.
Yep. The only exception I would make to that, Matt, is if you get a coverage where you think you're singled up on the outside without safety help over the top, you get a cover 0 look, I'm going.
Yeah, take a shot.
Pull that trigger. That's what your franchise, quote-unquote, generational talent quarterback is for. So let's see what look they give him, because I don't think that Brandon Staley is going to come out and give him that.
No, and this is going to be, at least an early test. I still think it's probably too early to make a judgment on Trevor Lawrence, because Jacksonville's a bad situation. They still need a lot around him. He needs some more help. He doesn't have all the help at receiver. They need some other pieces. And, and Doug can't fix everything in year one. This was a complete and total overhaul. The fact that they won as many games as they did is a pretty big step. And he's going to put more elements of the offense in, and they're going to open it up a little bit. So that's why I say it's still going to be a test. But, to me, the jury's still out on whether or not Trevor Lawrence is a generational talent. Whether he is going to, get into that tier of top tier quarterbacks. Right now, I'd probably say he's more like borderline third to bottom of the second tier. I need to see him make a big step next year. Maybe he'll start it right here. Who knows?
He is 2 plays away from setting an NFL record.
Oh, Gary.
This game, that's the most playoff interceptions. Tied for the most.
Well, they are definitely coming out chipping away. So,
yeah, nice quick completion there. Move the chains, reset the downs.
Nice
if I'm giving it away, I'm surprised, so I'm just going to keep going with what I'm doing.
that's fine.
Glad you made it, Beer Team. And Callie, I can tell you, maybe we need to set up an RGR retreat. We'll get Matt to come up, and all I'll do is drink beer, because I am terrible at fishing.
I don't fish very much. Actually, I don't know if I've ever been on a fishing trip per se.
I haven't been fishing in a long time.
Is Mrs. Dan in the house?
Growing up in the Ozarks, you do a lot of fishing.
I take my son fishing, but I don't want to catch anything when I go.
There we go.
I'm just there to enjoy the scenery.
I did have a pretty good conversation a couple of weeks ago with Trey Smith about catfish. So
all right,
there you go.
All
there
right.
You go.
Oof.
If he's always looking for a good place to get catfish in Kansas City. So hey, if anybody's got recommendations you want to send, I'll make sure to share them with him.
I can't get down with catfish. I know a lot of people love it cooked the right way, but every single time I've ever had it, I taste dirt every time. Even if it's
not the right catfish, man.
Yeah, fried catfish is so good. Go to the right fish fry, and you will just eat.
Everyone says that. Literally, everybody says
it's a beer batter. That's what it has to be. If there's no beer in there, it just doesn't work.
I don't know. My taste buds always taste dirt.
That's all right. Looks like there's an injury down. I know you've already seen it, Matt. You can tell us what's happening next.
Well, there's an injury, so we are at commercial right now.
All right.
I like that. Okay, so we're all on the same page for a moment. Mark S., that's a good question. Is there a screen in the playbook? I guarantee you there's about 6 different varieties of it. Why they're not pulling the trigger at, I'm not sure. Loftus? Okay, I got to know what this is, Cody. Cody seems to have an in with Matt. Is that some Ozarks territory thing I don't understand?
That's catching me. It's ringing a bell, but I don't remember why.
Okay. Cody.
Oh, it's a catfish place here in town in Kansas City.
It's in town. Okay, cool.
There you go. That is now a location I can send Trey's way.
There you
Awesome.
go.
And not Mrs. Chris agrees, so I like that. I like confirmation. I kind of dig that. Jumping catfish. I don't know what that one is, Daryl, but if that's
jumping catfish, we've discussed. Peach trees got really good catfish. Yeah.
Oh, look, see, Tracy's on the same stream as you, and she's way out of the area. So hey, I like that.
Seeing some recommendations for Lefty, so I'll definitely make sure. It looks like there's a couple locations around. So
now, I'm gonna need some short 1 minute vertical video from you, Matt, when you go. We're gonna start another channel. It'll be all foodie all the time.
Getting some things in the works.
Yeah, hey, it takes a village.
It does.
I can't drink all the beer.
Or can you?
Well,
I mean, I'm sure you could.
this is why people don't get to watch me watch ball games.
I stayed away. I didn't bring the beer in this time. Just water for me.
Well done. Well done. Huh. Crappie, I know, is very, very popular with a number of people. It's walleye up north in Nebraska where my wife's from, so I always get a walleye fish fry when I go home.
Wow.
That's
I
all.
got a Ukraine fan. That's awesome.
Sweet.
very awesome.
Yeah, cool.
I love to see it. I hope that everyone's safe out there and that you can watch this stream and this game in some safety. Thoughts are on everybody out there quite a lot. So
Yeah,
cheers
absolutely.
to you. Keep up the fight.
In case we play the Chargers, how do we stop their defensive line from getting to Pat on the edges? Well, getting the ball out quick is one thing. And honestly, if you go back to what the Chiefs did against the San Francisco 49ers, I think that's a direct correlation, especially if Bosa, I don't know if he's playing. I haven't seen Joey Bosa. I don't think he's playing. I don't know. Even if he is, I think that Andy has a nice game plan for the really good edges. I think he's got something in his bag for schematically to run pockets away. You run at them a little bit. You get them second guessing where the ball's going to go. Lots of misdirection. If you remember the 49ers game, there was jet sweeps. And eventually they actually handed it off to him and Nick Bosa just ran upfield. He didn't even see it coming. So they're going to have some schematic things that will be able to get the ball not just out of Mahomes' hands early and start getting the defense, frustrated. They're going to run the ball a little bit more effectively, I think. So some more power.
They've got McKinnon back there, who's the chip master. So they got a lot of different options they can do. Where he
send him something with that on
their pass rush.
We now see Doug dipping back into the Kansas City playbook with 3D patterns and nice underneath where they get the completion for the first, moving the ball a little bit. Ingram's back on. Ingram was a surprise for me. I thought he was a solid player, but he's really taken a step forward in Doug's offense this year. That caught me a little bit off guard. Anybody else?
I can't say it caught me off guard. The talent was always there. He was stuck in New York for the longest time with offensive coordinators, didn't know how to use him properly. And I think that the biggest difference is that they have schemed the offense around Christian Kirk, and a lot of the attention goes that way. So you can really start to scheme around Evan Ingram too. He's a really athletic player, can run after the catch, a mismatch at every level of the field. So getting him into the hands of a really intelligent offensive play caller and coordinator didn't surprise me a ton, to be honest with you.
Okay. Well, hey, it's paying off in spades right now.
Yeah.
Well, I'll even take that observation and kind of, relate it back to the last question because, talking about that last Chiefs-Chargers game, remember, Chiefs didn't have McColl in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Kadarius Toney got banged up. Mm-hmm. So really a lot of their, motion stuff, the things they were doing with the receivers in short yardage and over the middle and anything they wanted to do was probably Sky Moore stuff. Mm-hmm. If they've got both Kadarius and McColl this week, which I think that they will, and you can mix those guys in, I mean, that's another way of slowing down those edges because if you put those guys in motion, using the jet sweeps, all of those things are going to slow down that pass rush. And now you're going to have multiple options. You're going from having almost zero options against Chargers last time to having multiple options, and that's going to be a big help.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I am really, really intrigued to see what Andy Reid can do, even if it's just a couple of snaps with Toney and Hardman on the field. I'm really, really intrigued to see what they come up with.
I'm keyed by that too. And then how do you fit Sky in there? The three of those skill sets, the three of those size guys, even if EOS webcam utility is not cooperating, I do agree with that. Let's see. Okay, so we switched back. There we go. There was a question about Frank Clark. I haven't seen any update, Matt. Have you heard anything?
When we talked to Andy earlier this week, the MRI showed that there was nothing substantial. It was a minor strain that he's got. So weren't expecting him to be any big issue. He will probably be back at practice this week. I mean, they were going to do a couple of workouts this weekend once the guys got back from a couple days break. We won't get any injury reports on that. And depending on when the Chiefs play, it depends on the next time we hear from Andy. So we'll either hear from Andy on Monday or Tuesday, and then we'll have the first real update about Frank.
Gotcha. Brought a safety blitz there, got to him. O-line opened up like the Red Sea. Lawrence could not get the ball. It looks like there's a flag on the defense.
There is a flag on the play. So,
all right.
Now that's a recognition issue for me with the quarterback. Guys come in steps to recognize whether that's going to get picked up or not. He didn't have the back to his side. He's alone in the backfield. That's a ball that's just got to get sailed out to the out of bounds. That is a throwaway in an instant. That I think is pressing a little bit, and we got to watch for that.
Yeah, that's a play where, with Patrick Mahomes, with his play recognition, he either just chucks the ball downfield or throws it out of bounds. I mean, because he just has he's got the sight to know if that's a flag or not. We've seen that plenty of times. Now, he probably throws an interception, but it comes back on the penalty, so hey.
At least I did see Joey Bosa, so he is actively playing in the game. So yes, the plans will be there for him too.
Absolutely.
Jaguars.
I like that little motion ATN into the backfield and then continue him out the back. It's almost like a subsidized little jet motion kind of thing. It allows you to get the same kind of lateral action against the defense, and I like that setup.
Yeah, and this drive has been just peppered all over the place with these stretch plays to the outside for Jacksonville. It's maybe they think they found something. Dan found it way earlier in the game because he was saying that they should be doing this, back in the second quarter.
Wasn't that like the first thing that I said when I came on stream? Doug, give me a call, buddy. I can help you out a little bit.
We got the pipeline. You got a red phone in that office of yours?
I might. Oh, geez. I don't think he hurt himself.
Yeah, looks like he's moving all right, though.
Yeah.
Doug taking a page from Andy's script, the folded over double size 11 by 17 play sheet.
Man.
Tell you what, Trevor Etienne falls forward a lot better than I give him credit for.
Right? You got to enjoy that.
I mean, there's been a couple of run plays that I'm like, gosh, there's just not much there, and all of a sudden he falls forward for 5 yards. That's pretty impressive.
Especially when they bring heat, and he still manages to plow through. He might have, down to the one there. Clearly, I like that.
Oh, dear.
You got a good push the offensive line there. Uh-oh. Now in my head? Are you kidding me?
One thing, this has been a time-consuming drive for Jaguars, and if they want to come back, they're not going to be able to nickel and dime the whole game because right now I think this is a 6-minute drive, somewhere around there, maybe even more. And they've got to score 4 times, and 6 times 4 is 24, and a halftime only has 30 minutes in it. So they're going to need more than just nickel and diamond and stops. They're going to need a lot of things to go their way to come back in this game.
If they are able to punch it in here, this is the 3rd and goal play. See what
something tells
here.
me.
Oh,
yeah,
something tells me.
That play did not go well. So my question to you is, if you're Doug Pederson, is the 4-down territory for you?
Yes, it is. But there's no field goals anymore. There's no punting. There's no field goals. This is 5 minutes left in the 3rd.
4th down, not necessary.
Oh, there it is.
7 minutes, 17 seconds, 14 plays, 89 yards. Jaguars in the end zone.
Let's go, baby.
See, now you just got to spoil it for me.
Yeah,
I did it. I spoiled it for you. I spoiled it for you.
No,
I did it again. Even though I said I wasn't going to, I did it again.
Matt, I'm 49
I'm
years
fine
old.
with that. As long as it's good things. If you spoil the good things, I'm okay with that.
I won't spoil Knives Out for you or anything like that. But
no, don't spoil
Little
that.
hitch,
I haven't
hit the
even
back
seen the
foot and
first
got that out.
well, not doing that.
Dang. Jones was more open than a Waffle House at 4 a.m. on that play.
See, and this is what I do when I'm watching. For folks who this lives in my hand when I'm actually watching a game live. So I got to go back and I got to go watch it again. I got to see where Marvin came from as he starts in a tight split. It's just a clean, simple out. beat Asante Samuel Jr., who's been all over this ball game, just wasn't prepared for that. So, hey, you're getting.
Oh, that was that was kind of
Go
nice.
ahead.
I was just saying that was kind of nice hesitation move inside. Made him think he was coming back to the inside and then just cut on the outside. That's a better route than Marvin Jones has ran in 3 years. I'll tell you right now.
Well, and I'll tell you this too. This is keying on a guy who has jumped multiple routes to get those interceptions. So if you give him a look that he likes, he's going to eat it.
Also the eyes. I think Trevor Lawrence might have been looking there too. Like that's what all of these little things that play into it. It was a nice little hesitation move at the top of his route to make Samuel bite. Think he's going to get another opportunity to pick, come back to the outside, easy touchdown. Love it.
And one of the things that we got to see a little bit of when they cut to the sidelines after that disastrous third down play when they had the delay of game and they ran into each other in the backfield and everything was wrong. You cut over to Doug and Doug was like, "It's okay, calm down. It's going to be okay."
It's exactly it. It's literally like watching Andy coach. At times he's just so in control of the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of coaches right there would just be throwing their visor and upset, but Doug knows how to handle his quarterback.
Well, and I think that's the key. I was not surprised when he was not out of the league that long. And if there's a fixer that you think can compensate for Urban Meyer, I don't know that there was a better option available. And I like to see this pay off. Now, back to Gary's point, though, we are now down inside of 20 and a half minutes left in this ball game. It is now a 2-possession score. I feel much better about this in terms of if you can get continued production from the defense here, I feel like they can have a chance to get back in this game. And I know, folks, it feels like I'm rooting for it. But, hey, Gary, do you feel the same way now that the circumstances changed?
Yeah, I think that they still got to have some things go their way. And I will say that whenever we were in the first quarter, I said that there's going to be some point in time in this game where the Chargers do something, and it's basically either Chargers, and it changes the inflection of the game. And whether or not that happens, we'll find out. But down 13, there's still time left, and I think that we'd feel a lot better about the Jaguars' chances had it been a back and forth, in the first quarter that led to this 13-point deficit. So. Just 13 points behind, that's not insurmountable by any means with the amount of time they have left.
And since it's RGR, I'll we're after dark and everything. Hey, I'll do what Ryan wants me to here. When we talk about Chargers charging, and I completely and totally agree, it's not bad luck. It's not. It is. It's. I've now swung around to it's systemic in the organization, because I've now talked to enough guys who have been with the Chargers and have left, and you just hear that things are different in Kansas City. They do things differently, and it's different coaches. It's not it's not just one coach or anything like that. It's an organization thing, and that starts at the top. And they have weak ownership that doesn't have a lot of money, and they don't spend it. I'm not sure that their ownership, truly empowers their coaches the way that they need to. I've got some pretty strong beliefs about, who should be a coach and what you should hire and what you should look for that I've evolved over the years. And nothing against what the Chargers have done, but they don't necessarily make the smartest decisions in coaching. And I think this is just another good example. Injuries, maybe they're bad luck. There will be people who will tell you that they're not bad luck because the Chargers have like one of the worst medical staffs in the football. Yeah. But when it comes to the decisions that they make and the things that they do, it's systemic. It's not bad luck. It's just who they are.
Yeah, and now for a message from San Diego State.
But yeah, Dan and I were talking about the injuries for the Chargers earlier, and I mentioned that the medical staff has had a lot of questions, but I believe they also play on turf, don't they? So sometimes I wonder if it's a combination of many things where the turf, is kind of improving to cause more injuries, and they play on a turf surface. So that, in conjunction with maybe some questions they have around their medical staff, that's a part of the puzzle that puts all that.
That's not a catch. Wow. I'm a little surprised they didn't try to get that done. Sorry, Gary.
I don't know where everybody's at. I am not caught up. I will tell you that there was a pass that should not have been a catch that was counted as one, and then a hurry up here right after that went incomplete, and that's where I'm at.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too.
Yeah, I'm watching a replay of, looks like, who is that, Parham or Everett, rolling the ball on the ground.
Yep.
And Matt's smiling.
Well, I know what happened, so it's
And a chunk play back to him for the first down and more. Wow.
So
Okay, so it's a battle of tight ends.
I will point out, Oregon, that they have to get confirmation quick enough to throw the flag. It's not just him saying, I'm going to throw this flag. The team goes through the video before they can throw the flag. So that's why you see offenses hurry up there to try to make sure that they don't get time to do that.
yeah, and and that's a situation there. If you're Doug and you're in this situation, risking the timeout. I mean, based on the amount of time that you get from your staff that's looking at those replays and can get it down to you and tell you, yeah, for sure, do it. If they go quick, I mean, it's hard sometimes to make that decision. And then on top of that, if you're Doug, timeouts are twice as more valuable than they usually are in a situation like this, because he knows that if he's going to win this game, he's probably going to need all three of those timeouts later, and he's not going to risk one on anything but a 99% chance.
Great point.
Come back with a first down run to the man Eckler and goes nowhere. So set themselves up for second and long. Matt's already seen this, but the rest of us are going to enjoy this play.
How do you feel about third and longs?
I like
Hey,
third
I
and
love
longs.
those.
I love them. They're my favorite.
They're like my favorites.
Even for the Chiefs, because we know they can't struggle on third and long. They only struggle on third and short.
There's no such thing as third and long for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Matt Derrick patented side just came out. So
Woof. All right. I'm going to have to get a chair for this, so I'll be right back. Y'all talk amongst yourselves.
I wish it was a good side, but I have a feeling it's going to be a bad side. Oh, good Lord.
you'll be pleasantly surprised, maybe.
Oh, maybe. Okay. I'll be okay with that. But, Arden Key doing a great job there on the second down play to help force that third and long. I'm still waiting for the play to happen. So, I don't know. I'm probably way, way behind at this point.
And I saw a couple of questions about Chargers coaching, and no, I don't think that Brandon Staley's in any danger whatsoever. I mean, I expect him fully to be back next year. I'm less convinced about Lombardi. I think that's, if you're the Chargers, that's a change you got to consider, but not even sure that's going to happen. But I don't think that they can make a move with Lombardi being or with Staley. Any of the coaches that you would think, hey, go out and take a chance on, Sean Payton, for example. Chargers don't have the money and the resources for Sean Payton, so that's not going to happen. But I think Staley will be around for at least another year.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
So they don't publicly state it like Mark Davis does. I mean, he publicly stated that they didn't have the funds to fire Josh McDaniels, which I thought was interesting. You're like, you own an NFL team, but you don't have the money to hire or fire a new head coach. I mean, what are they doing? Living paycheck to paycheck? It just kind of blew my mind a little bit.
It's more prevalent than we think.
The finances of NFL teams is especially the teams that have been in families for a long time, because the Davis family is a great example of that. I mean, the Davis family is not particularly wealthy. Most of their wealth is tied up in the Raiders, and they're also cheap. I mean, the Bengals are in that same category. I mean, the Bengals have the reputation as being probably the cheapest team in the NFL, which, what they have been able to do of late is, even to me, more of a compliment to that front office and to Zach Taylor, and why I'd be absolutely robbing that organization right now, because there's clearly talent there. But this isn't going to be a 10-year dynasty, because they're going to give the money to Joe Burrow and they're not going to have money for anybody else.
Yeah. So hard to be creative, as Tills has been, as Mahomes has allowed them to be. It's not easy for everyone just to do what the Chiefs have done. I think we kind of gets lost in a lot of, especially for Chiefs fans. We see what they were able to do, how Mahomes has been able to go back and forth and say, look, I don't really care. Let's make this beneficial for both of us. And a lot of players don't do that. And we are a little spoiled in Kansas City seeing that happen. I know everyone's talked about, oh, players will come play here in Kansas City. That we've seen that's not necessarily the truth. A lot of players want to go to higher markets, get paid more. Miami being one of those places. So, I mean, we kind of know that.
No state income tax, even better.
Right? So there's a stigma in Kansas City. You know, the Chiefs paid Mahomes. Everyone's like, well, 3 years, not going to be able to do anything. Guess what? I'm sorry. I almost set my microphone off. It's been 3 years, y'all. What's your excuse now? They're going to come into more cap space next year. Like, what's the excuses now? There isn't any. He's just great. And they've done a great job of making it work for everybody, and that's the brilliance in all of this.
Meanwhile, Travis Etienne falling forward again for another 5-yard gain. His yards per carry is going up as this game wears on. Lawrence with the ball out quick on this completion for a first down.
So, yes, Etienne is now up to 4.8 yards per carry in this game in the second half. Austin Eckler, meanwhile, has gone down from 4.4 to 3.0.
There you go.
Yes. We're looking at the same screen, Matt. I mean, that's a positive evolution. I think that sets up the rest of the team. That getting the ball out quickly, like we're seeing here, it's got to continue this tempo. I think that's the key here. And hey, let him grind it out. Matt, or to Gary's point before, that last drive gave up 3 points. It was 2 minutes and 58 seconds. Not a lot of real estate time-wise to give up, and kept it at a two-possession game.
Oh my goodness! Sorry, spoiler.
There we go. I'm gonna be quiet.
I've lost the ability to remain quiet.
I'm gonna start cussing. What's going on?
Well, Doug Pederson's brilliant. You know, you chip away long enough, and you get the team.
There it is, baby.
You set it up.
Is it play action? Is it play action?
And then you take your shot.
Let's go.
And 3-by-1. Ingram in tight. I'm just going to call it play here. As Trevor is audibly to this look.
Baby. Oh, baby.
Ingram's still attached at the line. You're getting that push down. Clean.
What a throw.
And
wide.
It is
Wide
open.
He's wide open.
Wide open.
Where's the Saudi Samuel Jr. now? That's what I want to know.
Going for two. Going for two.
Yeah, they have to go for two, yeah.
Make it a one-score game.
This is key here.
Ooh. Well, it's still a two-score game.
Thanks.
Sorry about that. But 30-20 looks a lot different now than 27 to nothing.
This hasn't even updated, Matt. Jeez.
It's the fourth quarter too. Like that's the thing. Like this is a brand new ball game.
Yeah, watching this game real time, you can feel some of the momentum and the shifting.
That's also. I mean, that's an Andy Reid play right there. That's where Doug got that. I mean, Tyreek Hill has run that exact same route.
I want to see that because I thought it might have been
had that one coming.
Something we've seen with McCole Hardman and Tyreek Hill, where they just run to the opposite sides of the safeties and say, "You can't cover both of us." It felt like that.
Yep. And if you make the wrong decision, guy's wide open.
Yep. Love it.
Give it to Trevor Lawrence, though. We were just talking about, can he be a generational talent? He recognized the defense, changed the play to get that deep over, to get him open. Let's give him credit there. The Marvin Jones catch for the touchdown, I think, was a lot to do with the quarterback having settled down, being able to recognize the defense and make adjustments accordingly.
Bosa's upset, apparently.
Okay, fine. Well, I'll give him credit. You guys don't have to.
No, I completely agree. I mean, and I'm nodding. I was nodding the entire time because, I mean, to me, the composure is a huge part of it too. Mm-hmm. To be able to come out in this half and do what he's done, and after how badly things went in the first half, and just maintain, play within yourself. Don't try and push it. Wait until your opportunity and then strike. I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks can't do that, and that to me is telling me the right things about him.
Yep.
So this 15-yard penalty on Bosa is now Bosa complaining to the ref coming back to talk to him, basically getting an explanation, and then throwing the flag. That's very, very interesting. Now, I, for one, have always felt that Joey Bosa is Joe Walsh's second return. But that said, I still wouldn't talk back to the ref in this situation. Am I wrong, Gary?
I think he said the magic words, whatever those words were, he said them, and the ref didn't appreciate them.
That was definitely a magic word.
We've seen a couple of those in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And
Chris Jones.
to underscore, Ryan's point about Trevor Lawrence in this second half, I think I've got him now 10 of 11 for 100 and about 20 yards, 118 yards, and 2 scores.
Oh, jeez.
That's a complete and total reversal from the first half.
Taylor
Really,
2 halves.
that
We see it all the time.
That touchdown at the end of the first half was huge.
Yep.
It was huge.
10 of 11, 118 yards, and 2 touchdowns in 1 quarter. That's
Talking it up, talking up.
Not the same guy as the first half. Very impressive.
He's more animated on the sideline. He's talking to his teammates. He's setting things up. I think they have more in them.
He's strutting. Yeah, he's got it. He's getting there.
Now, if I'm Staley or Lombardi here, you can't play into the strength of the Jaguars defense. I think this is the time, despite what you all know about me, where I'm pulling out the play action. I'm not running the ball because they're keen on that, trying to get this stop right now.
Brendan Staley's not a very good situational coach, though. So,
how do you really feel, though, Dan? I'm not sure.
You've seen it. This is not just a Brandon Staley thing. Whatever is in the water in LA or in San Diego, it's now in the water in LA, wherever their coach's office is. They can't seem to situationally coach well. And that exactly was what I would have done too. You've run the ball on first down multiple times now. You come out, give a play action, get a chunk play. Guess what? Things go differently. Now it's second and long again, and you're putting yourself behind the 8 ball every single time. Just
agreed.
I'll be right back, everybody.
Same. I'll be right back.
Everybody's like, Dad, you got to calm down. Tell me they're not bringing Magnum PI back again.
They are.
Oh, Tom Selleck is rolling over somewhere. Oh, wait, no. Tom should be complaining because he can still do the mustache eye thing. So he's good.
Well, Austin Eckler does, and the Chargers have 3 rushes for -5 yards in the second half. So, yeah. Don't think that's there right now.
No, I don't. And yet I'm very anxious to see whether they continue to try to push that and go back to it. I'd probably almost always rather run first, play off of that, but this is the perfect time. If you're that offensive coordinator where you have to call something that takes advantage of that aggression. Back and forth. And folks, this is why we call it a chess game. We should probably do this more often because we get to have candid moments like this. Is my mic having trouble? Oh, sorry, you guys.
I am getting the buzz. I wasn't sure if it was you or me.
It's gonna be. Let me know if that does need to clean up. Your hose, bro.
Am I gonna have to take over with everybody gone?
You might have to. You still hear it from me.
And Dan luckily gets back just as Ryan's mic goes out, and so
I have my headset on the whole time.
Excellent.
And I just hear. I'm like, all right, I gotta get back there quick. All right, yeah, that was pretty bad. Sorry about that, everybody. Ryan, hopefully we'll fix that relatively quickly.
Hey, first time, got to work out the kinks. So
always, this has been a lot of fun. I always love talking football. And this game, obviously the first half was not fun for us to try to talk about because it was a blowout. This third quarter has been a lot more interesting. Really nice adjustments from the Jaguars on offense. I don't know. Are you already in game?
I was not just yet. The Chargers are trying to charge her. Not turning over the football, but
you said it at halftime.
Just watch what's coming because you're going to love this. I mean, this is just what happens when not everybody's on the same page and you don't know what you're all doing.
Oh man,
it's hilarious.
Now I can't hear Ryan at all. No, nothing, Ryan. No, you are a good 30 seconds ahead of me. That's impressive, actually.
That's a false start.
I timed it during one of the Amazon games because it seemed like it was forever. But I had the Amazon stream going at Arrowhead to see what it was. And I believe it was 45 seconds difference between when I saw it happen at Arrowhead and when I saw it come on the stream.
Wow.
And, and over the air lag is much, much quicker, but the stream, quite a bit.
All right. Looks like I'm back. How's the static?
You
That's
sound
better.
much better.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'll try not to move. All right. So start of the fourth quarter. Here we go. I'm trying to call the game more because folks were asking for that. So I'm trying to do that job for you. Josh Allen gets run around the back end of the pocket. Another completion, first down. Kudos to Josh Palmer. Is he somebody that gets picked up by another team when his contract's up, Matt?
That's possible.
He seems like a guy that's putting out a performance this season that is worth picking up, but I don't know if they're going to spend the money to bring him back. I think he's got another year under his current contract. Though.
He's a second-year player, so he still has 2 years. 2 years.
Oh, I thought
his
it was
contract.
third. Okay.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's his, and that's the kind of player that Josh Palmer is. He's like a step down from Mike Williams, in my opinion. Just they really like to use him down the field if they can get him, but they turn him into a possession receiver, which is not really his game. But you get some defensive coverage on Keenan Allen. He can sit behind a zone pretty well.
This
Thank
might
you,
be the
Lev.
first time in the game where Herbert has really felt pressure. You know, the game started with so many turnovers so fast, good field position. Now he's got to go the whole length of the field. And remember, this is his first playoff game too. So curious to see what they do here because this is a huge drive.
Oh, he does nothing on that one.
And the
Don't
only thing
drop
that can
Don't drop
really
Jesus.
hurt the Jacksonville now is
that.
Yeah. Ryan clearly not happy
Oh yeah, that's a
with
bad.
that.
That's a bad play.
That was a dumb play.
Trayvon Walker, get off the field.
I apologize, everyone.
I'm
Doug
sitting on
Pederson
the bench.
Doug Pederson was just about as upset as you were, Ryan. So
I mean,
bench. You are sitting on the bench for that kind of play right now. You're not going back in.
is it Fatukasi or is it Walker?
I thought it was Walker.
I think it's Fatukasi. Somebody
Walker
trying
got
to
the
rip
flag.
the ball out? No. Oh, it was Walker with the push.
Yeah,
Fair
Walker
enough.
pushed him.
I mean, come on. Come on. What are you doing?
I'm not a fan of that flag. I mean, he shouldn't have pushed him, but
Oh, he can't push him. There's no
I
doubt
think
about
he
that.
shouldn't have done it. But
Not twice in the graphs and the play is over. That's just a dumb play.
And
I didn't see him push him in the grass.
yeah, I got pushed at the end of the play.
Oh, I didn't see that.
And Chargers should have probably been called again for the false start because the guy in motion had to run around the tight end
Yeah.
and then ran back again. And they called it earlier. They didn't call it the second time, but you can't do that.
The Chargers continue to play right to the strength of the Jaguars' defense. I don't get the automatic run on first down.
The run has not been there in the second half. I have no idea why they're continuing to do it other than they feel like they have to. But setting yourself up into second and long, third and long situations is not going to help. But
Absolutely not.
Herbert
Despite
makes it
that-
work sometimes.
Despite that ludicrous penalty, it is now 3rd and 9. I can't believe they survived that. That's, man, I apologies for my outburst there, folks. These should
This
things
is
why
what
I
this
don't
is
do this live very
all
often.
about, Ryan. This is what this is about.
If people
you
knew how
guys-
many things get thrown at my television every week, they'd be shocked.
Like, if you guys watch this during Chiefs games, it's 10 times as bad as it is right now. Telling you right
Now
now.
Herbert's going to get this first down, though. Sneaky athlete he
Something
is.
tells me he doesn't get it.
Well,
Oh yeah, he's
maybe,
about to
maybe
get it.
I'm ahead of you too. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I'm still behind Matt, I'm sure.
Are you guys still watching the third down?
Dang it! I love Aim Straight's comment though. Evidently, he was playing to see Matt. if you're the last streamer standing,
I was upstairs. I heard come over to the speaker. Am I going to have to take over?
where'd who go? Oh, that's hilarious.
It's one of my all-time favorite memories of my dear friend Therese Paler. But Therese, when he was with Yahoo one time, he was working on something on the deadline, and so he was actually sitting at one of the tables over in the dining area where they have the monitors on. And so he wasn't actually watching the game. He was having the ride over in the other area. And I can't remember which play it was, but Mahomes did something. And so Terez is watching it on the delay. So it's like 30 seconds later. And we all see Mahomes do this. And in the press box, there's no cheering. So, you're just, what you usually get is when Mahomes does one of his, what I say, Mahomes LOL plays, you'll get some laughter, you'll get some chuckling, you'll get a little, oh my goodness. I mean, but there's no cheering because that's not allowed in the press box. But Mahomes does this, and we all have our little outburst and everything. And then 30 seconds later, I just hear the cackle of Therese Paler. And if you've ever heard Therez's laugh, you'll just hear that. You just all of a sudden, 30 seconds later, out of nowhere, just Therese echoing through the entire press box.
Oh, the man had a jolly laugh. It
was wonderful. It was. I love that moment.
Oh, I miss that man.
I'll tell you that. I know he is missed terribly.
He is indeed.
Thank you, Talon. I appreciate you guys. You too, Chris. And German. We're doing what we can. Try not to get out of control, but I make no guarantees. I should have made this an NSFW stream tonight.
You absolutely should have.
Stop it, because you're going to light me up.
I want to light myself up too. This isn't just you, Ryan. You forget. I was a mechanic in the Air Force.
Believe me, I understand.
There are things that are said.
There are words the children should not hear that we will say. Member stream. That's what we'll do. Mike Quigley, are the Chargers going to charge again? It looks like they're halfway on their way. I love Herbert, but it's a disease at this point.
I think that unnecessary roughness penalty is going to be the one that cost the Jaguars because they had the Chargers off the field. They were going to stop them right there, and that bailed them out. I mean,
I got to think you're right, Matt. That was just, it was inexcusable.
It's a young team making dumb mistakes. We have seen that happen in 2016, 2015, early Travis Kelce's kind of outbursts. We've seen it happen.
Great example.
Thank you for the 10 spot there, Mike. Appreciate you, Mike. And I will tell you too, I was one of the few people that saw Herbert at the Senior Bowl and said he should be right there with Burrow. He was number 2 on my depth chart that year on my board. And I'm as much as I'm not a Chargers fan, I like to see what he's grown into, and I think he has a lot more upside in him if he can get a little bit more support.
I'm with you. What do we got here? Oh, geez.
Cheating of some kind. I'm almost certain.
There it is. Here's the flags. Here we go.
Well, the Chargers are now apparently giving up on the run. So
yeah, they did that play at least.
I think they are going to have to give up on the run because the run is not working. The only thing it's doing is taking time off, which is great, but there's 12 minutes left to go in this game. I mean, there's plenty of time. I mean, you got to hold onto the football, and they're not going to hold onto the football running the ball.
I thought that was against the
dang. The offensive lineman was like a good 8 yards downfield there. He's almost running a route.
Yeah, this wasn't like in the earlier game where they're like a yard and a half and they throw the flag. That dude was going for it.
He earned it. He earned it.
That one all the way.
Throw the ball, stop the clock, though. I mean,
there we go.
The Chargers are in between a rock and a hard place, even though they have a 10-point lead here. But if I was a Charger fan, I'd be probably having palpitations right now.
It's a nice way to put it.
Oh, they've been here before, so it's not the first time. I mean,
I'll say they're kind of used to it, so it's that little dun, 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 dun. Like they're starting to. It's like, wait a second, wait. We can't. This can't happen again. Like it can't. It's like every weekend when the Chiefs are in a close game they shouldn't be. Why is this happening? Why does this keep happening? Like that's what it feels like with the Chargers at times.
Jaguars are gonna their defense is gonna have to do something. They need a turnover. That's the only way I think they're gonna be able to bail themselves out of this one.
They
So-
sealed the game last week. Maybe they got another one in them.
What if the Chargers don't pick up this first down? They go for it on fourth down and don't get it. That might be the chargering moment.
It's also a Brandon Staley special at this season.
Pressure right up the gut. Completion.
Keenan
Allen
Allen can't stop the guy,
He's too good.
and they're in field goal range, so they can certainly make it a 13-point game now pretty easily, which just makes it a little bit harder for Jacksonville. But
Yep. Still keeps
touchdown here, and I give up. But
Yeah, it's pretty much over if they score a touchdown.
Key almost got his hand on that one.
Yeah.
A little late.
now you're trying. Oh man, they are trying to pull that ball out.
Mike, I wouldn't say that the Chargers roster is better than the Chiefs. I got to tell you, and I would call it pretty close to even. The Chiefs have better depth on the offensive line. I think we're seeing that. Sawyer set aside, but I would say this: I think it's as much as we want to complain about the revolving door that has been the quarterback coach position. It is the coaching that. Whether you like Spag's system or not, it's consistent. Whether you like what Andy's going to do in certain situations with the gas pedal, it's consistent. And I think that's something that Justin Herbert could benefit from.
Oh, almost pulled that out.
Yeah, it's close.
Good Lord. What play are you guys watching? I'm still waiting for
I'm just watching the replay of the run. That's all.
Oh, okay.
Matt's the one getting everything ready for whatever play. Just
Wait, I'm
happened.
seeing I just saw the run for the first time.
I'm trying to keep my mouth shut.
Okay, you're doing great, Matt.
I am certainly better at having a good poker face than Ryan is. So
We haven't played poker in person.
So
yet.
just
That's
put so here's the key to beating Ryan at poker. Apparently, put a football game on. And
Exactly.
that'll be it. He won't be able. To, he won't be able to do it.
Which is sad because my weekly home game is on a Thursday night.
Oh, come on now. Come on, Jags. Give me something to believe in.
It is fourth down, right?
It is fourth down.
Okay, just check.
Okay.
Well, some of it's third down for some, fourth down for others.
That's helpful. I appreciate that.
I skipped a little bit. But
Every
wanna
time I
make
think
sure.
I'm not going to give away any more spoilers, I accidentally do another one.
Oh, it's fine, man. It's all good. Honestly, it's fine.
I think it worked out rather handsomely. Matt, you're awesome. I'm not screwing around with this anymore. This is what we're doing.
We're all here to watch Matt. That's what we are all here.
Oh,
to
and it's
watch.
charging in full effect.
He missed it. Let's go.
There you
Seriously,
go. Yeah.
Do you have this on DVR? Can you pause it for 20 seconds?
It's the plus. I mean, hey, the drawback for me is live. I can't rewind this, but
You, my friend, are Nostradamus right
amazing.
now, and I'm loving it.
This is amazing.
all right, I'm going full poker mode the rest of the way. I will not reveal anything. You will not know what happens based on my reactions anymore.
No,
He
we
choked
want
it.
it to happen.
I can't believe Dicker the kicker missed that one, man. Guy's automatic.
He's been
40
automatic.
yards? That's crazy.
But this is it. Like I said, this isn't just your normal everyday kick a field goal situation. This is in the water. It's they brought it with them to Jacksonville. Whatever they filled up their water bottles with, it's now here, and they are full on charging. You can't make it up. This is what they do.
Full on. No half measures. Well, in light of that comment, the fact that Matt's going to tell me what happened anyway, I'm going to go get another beer.
So
Well, we are in the commercial break, so
in
Yeah, that's
the
at least something.
we got that going for us.
in the third quarter, there was a play that happened I thought was interesting on fourth down. The Chargers had the ball at about it was like the 37, 38 yard line, and they chose to punt it.
Yes.
In that case, at that point in time, they were up 27-7. I thought that was interesting because it's just kind of a microcosm of everything else that has happened in this game so far is that they've become conservative. They're running the ball on first down. They're playing right into Jacksonville's, the teeth of their defense. And it's just several different things that are happening in this game that the Chargers have really kind of shot themselves in the foot. If they would have kept their foot on the gas pedal, continue to throw the ball, push it downfield, do things that were working in the first half. Obviously, Jacksonville's made some adjustments, but we're watching real time how the Chargers have found themselves in this situation so often. And it's not one thing. It's many different things that they've been doing. And I think this mostly lends to the fact that it's kind of some form of football conservatism that they've been doing in this second half that's really punished them. And that's on Staley, and he's a defensive head coach. So it's in his DNA to want to play that way when you got the lead. But right now they're kind of just flat-footed waiting for what the Jaguars are going to do from a team standpoint. And down 10, 8 minutes left, we got a game. We got a game, which we didn't think we'd have when we saw 5 turnovers in the first half from the Jaguars. This is insane that this is even a game right now.
Well, and part of it is, and I completely agree with you. And part of it is that, I mean, their balance hasn't been completely off. I think I got them with 17 passes and 8 runs in the second half, but those 7 runs were devastating, or the 8 runs were devastating because they all went nowhere. I mean, Austin Eckler has 5 carries for 0 yards in the second half. You run on first down and you get 2nd and 10 or 2nd and 13 every single time. The passes aren't going to be as effective. I mean, you're not going to be able to do as much. You're limited. I mean, you get too predictable, and that's absolutely has been the problem. To me, it hasn't been the balance. It's just that they run on first down, which forces them to run on second, or throw on second. Then they have to throw on third because it's once again 3rd and long. And sometimes it's worked out well for them, but other times it hasn't. And in the long run, it's not going to work out for you if you do that.
Lawrence looks like he had his thumb stepped on with a pair of cleats.
Oof. Yeah,
they're looking at him.
Luckily, it's his non-throwing hand. But I mean, you take a second.
Oh, and he is bleeding bad there. Yeah, he has got a little gash on that thumb. It's his left thumb. So.
Oh, so it's not his throwing hand.
No.
Yeah, it's not.
Oh, yeah, you got it pretty good.
Yeah, they got a quick tape job on it, and.
So did Matt tell me this penalty going to be on the Chargers? I gotta know. It is on the Chargers. Okay.
Yes. Well, it was so long ago.
It was Matt forgot. He forgot it was so long ago.
It was literally 3 plays ago.
No, it wasn't.
That play was no different than the way the Chargers have been playing.
Okay, it was 2 plays ago. They were getting ready to run the 3rd play, so that was why I was off.
Exiting out of my stream, and I'm going to try to reload it. Oh, good Lord! Because I can't do that anymore.
They use athletic tape to wrap it up.
Yeah.
What up?
There's got to be super glue on the sideline somewhere.
Yeah.
Somebody.
That was a heck of a catch by Jones, by the way. I think the Chargers are going to challenge.
Catch, Matt.
Adamus has spoken.
Oh, this was long enough ago that you guys should be seeing this one now. The Chargers are challenging.
Yeah,
I think he caught it, though.
Well, that's good. I'm glad.
The ball hit the ground, but I think he had control of it. So in a situation like that, that's supposed to be a catch. Now we'll see, because like I said, I don't think the ground helped him. I think he had control of it. And he's got it in his hands, and the ball hits the ground, but that slow-mo look makes it look a little worse, because it does look like maybe it moved when it hit the ground.
That's not I think that's not going to be a catch.
But for Jacksonville, the nice thing about the timeout is that Trevor's getting to go over to the bench and get that thumb taken care of a little bit better. So
yeah.
While we're at a commercial break, I do want to say 2 things. Cheers to Matt for joining us. Not often that we get a professional on streams. Awesome. And cheers to Gary. This is Gary's first live stream with us.
Oh, nice job, Gary.
Well done. Dan and I, we yak at each other all the time, but
I would not have guessed this was Gary's first time. He seems like a pro.
He absolutely is.
I'm used to being on camera like this though. So when I teach, I've got tons of students watching me. It's a little bit
Shout
of
out to
experience.
all you Mizzou students of Gary's. I like it,
There
Professor.
you go. M-I-Z.
ZOU.
Yeah. Rock Chalk. Everybody
I
stop.
wasn't feeling that way after
Everybody
the
stop.
basketball game today, but
There you go. I like Dennis Gates. I am not going to get fined by talking about the officiating. So
I like Dan's Switzerland routine over there, Michigan fan.
Yeah, what am I supposed to do? I don't care about Kansas Missouri rivalry. I don't care.
You got to pick one, brother. You got to pick
I
one.
don't have to. That's the best
Hey,
part.
you know what, Mark? This is a great idea.
Yeah, that is a
Except-
great idea.
Normally, I don't do this while we're on live.
That's true.
That's what the beer channel's for, and the beer channel's all pre-recorded, just so you guys know. That tends to lead to negative things. I hate to tell you, Chris, there is also a Kansas City, Kansas. There are two entities. So.
This is very true. There are
team
two
is
of them.
Kansas City, Missouri.
Right? I realize it was first. Count Ripula, come on. Let's have a little fun.
Okay, spoiler: ruling on the field stands.
Wow, they let
Well
it
done.
stand. Wow.
I'm going live. I'm
I'm
not
watching
even,
some
I'm
dude
skipping
with
all
a
the way ahead.
T-Mobile commercial right now.
Since if I was at the stadium at Arrowhead, I'd be tweeting out right now. Call stands. I'll
I'm
tell you
okay
right
with
now.
that.
Call
I'm good
stands.
with that, man. Oh, good Lord. I'm still at commercial.
me too. YouTube TV.
Is it YouTube TV? Well, the nice thing is YouTube is getting the DirecTV contract. So one of the things that I've found out is that there's supposed to be tools for streaming for us as creators to tie into the ball games in the future. So I'm very excited about that. And folks, when we have more information about it, we will definitely let you know. If you happen to find us tonight and you're not one of our regular Rogue Nation fans, make sure you like and sub and hit the bell here before we watch this game come to its conclusion. Because we'll probably end up doing this again as they get another first down. Trevor Lawrence, that was a nice ball.
Yeah, I think we're going to probably end up doing this again. We're all having a lot of fun. It's like the off-the-cuff nature of it, because literally anything can happen. Brian can storm out of his chair. Like, anything can happen.
I haven't even cussed yet. Watch out.
What's
So-
coming?
Chargers down to one timeout. They might, depending the way this game's going, they might need that at some point in time.
Yeah. I can't believe it.
The line's holding up.
I
That was a
mean-
terrible pass.
I mean, and that's why even though I thought that was a catch, I probably wouldn't have challenged it. And in the moment, I don't know if you've got the time to think about it, but the other reason why I would not have made that challenge is I don't want Trevor Lawrence going over to the bench and letting the
Yeah.
trainers get a chance to put some pain numbing on that thumb and wrap it up better. Because it had to be hurting like crap.
Sure.
And they've gone over there and I'm sure puts, hey, Brian, you know better than I do, lidocaine or something on that thing to take the edge off.
Yeah, if they're being bashful. I didn't see a needle come out, so
On top of that, though,
that's a
Lawrence
nice route.
probably
Okay.
adrenaline
Okay,
rushing through
so-
his system. Now he doesn't feel much.
That helps too.
Yeah.
So I like what I'm seeing from Lawrence here, despite that that incomplete was a little bit behind that receiver. He comes back with a nice pass. It's a deeper out, hits Kirk on the money. I like that to get a little bit of yak, and now they're out of bounds. So they're cognizant, they're aware. I think Doug's done a good job of keeping them in the moment, understanding what their situation is time-wise, not just yardage-wise. I like what I'm seeing here.
Yeah, they are being quick, but they're not hurrying. They are moving with some alacrity. They are trying to get down there.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, and Doug's been around long enough. Hopefully, he has learned this from being around Andy. I mean, sometimes you can go too slow. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, the Chiefs and that drive in the playoffs against the Patriots, in the same situation, they went too slow. They took up too much time and didn't leave themselves enough time for the comeback. Jaguars they're trying to go a little faster here.
This is a class collapse. This is a class collapse. This is what the Chargers do. I honestly can believe what I'm seeing, but I can't believe in the playoff game they're
Okay,
doing
that
this
one
right
was
now.
a little. I don't know. That was a little grotesque, I got to say. Sorry, I go silent while I'm watching the replays here. I mean, that was
I don't know what
those
happened.
2 arms wrapped around the middle of the receiver. That should have been called. I'm sorry. There's just no way around that.
They have let that go tonight.
Yeah,
I can't believe
that's a
Tony
penalty.
Dungy agrees with
Yeah.
me. That is a rarity. Folks, Dylan, great question. I don't know that I could ever do this during a Chiefs game. We could probably set one up so maybe all 4 of us could rotate through. We could probably employ Seth. There's a touchdown. It is now a 3-4-point ball
There
game.
it is.
See, and I
There it
kept
is.
my mouth shut just so I could watch you guys react.
Sorry,
I did it this time. Well, you
the
already saw it.
chat didn't though.
I
So I
thought what Ryan was going to be much more demonstrative than that. So I'm very disappointed. But
You know,
the fact that this game is 30
go.
to going to be 30 to 27 is total chargering.
yeah,
I
absolutely.
don't want to say I told anybody so, but this was
I mean-
always a possibility.
And
Let's be honest. This entire ball game has been about the Jaguars. Them giving the game away early in the
Exactly.
first half and now taking it back. It has
What have the
not
Chargers
been
done in
about
this
the Chargers.
game? What have they done?
Bosa not happy.
Don't blame him.
Bosa's gonna get flagged here pretty soon if he hasn't
I
already.
can't look at him and not hear life's been good though. Okay, my Maserati does 185.
All right, Britton, by
There's
the
just-
way, if you can sell Christian Kirk after that touchdown for a little bit higher, go for it right now. Go do it right now. I know you're watching, Britton. Go do it.
Multiple meltdowns by Joe Walsh. I mean Joey Bosa.
Bosa's going to get ejected, isn't he?
I can't see that Joe Walsh reference. I mean, now that you mention it, I can't.
Yep, Bosa's getting ejected.
Bump, 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 bump.
Yep. Bye bye. That's it. Oh my gosh, they're done.
It's full meltdown.
This is
You
it.
can't eject him for slamming his helmet.
Wow.
I mean,
You can't.
So
yes,
not
you
not
can.
not to give it away here, but in spoiler, but the Jaguars are accepting the foul penalty on Bosa and moving to the 1 yard line for a 2-point conversion.
Let's go.
Look at you. Look at this is why Matt's here, folks.
This is exactly why Matt's here. He's the best at this.
He's ahead of it. He's got the feed.
So they're going to go for the 2-point conversion to try and make it 30 to 28, which would make a field goal a game-winning kick.
Winner. I like the
Interesting.
decision in that case.
Yeah, I love this choice. I mean, this is a headsy choice and it's a gutsy choice. I mean, I give it the Doug. That's what you got to do in this situation.
so that if they get the 2 points here, that might be the second thing they've done that was really kind of like an inflection point. One was the missed field goal, and then if they get this 2-point conversion, it's going to be that dumb play, just frustration, slamming your helmet on the field.
Yeah, I mean, this is if they can make these 2 points are on Bosa. There is absolutely no doubt about it. Because I doubt that they go for it if and otherwise.
Yeah, you're right.
That's a
You're
good
right.
point. Thank you, KL, for the support. Appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for the $5. Having you guys stream live with the Chargers put together an all-timer is just great. Only the Chargers have a jump ball specialist. Yeah, amazing, right?
You guys remember when Mahomes went over the top?
I've tried to forget it ever since.
You're going to see it again in about 5 seconds.
And there it is. It's
I love
2-point
it.
game, folks. Thank you, Joey. You
Trevor
did it yourself.
Lawrence posterizes the Chargers defense.
This is the the Jason Kelsey special. 92% of the time, it works every time.
Very well
Well
played.
done, Dan.
Extremely
Yeah.
well played.
I mean, yeah. Trevor
That
Lawrence might
stadium-
not have a more iconic picture than that one ever.
I mean,
Hit him,
and
Doug.
making that decision there, because remember, in a situation like that, a team can choose to apply the personal foul penalty on the kickoff and kick off from the 50
Yeah.
and do exactly what the Jaguars did earlier. I mean, they had a kickoff from the 50, they dropped it on, and were able to, I think the Chargers got it out to about the 20 maybe, so it was a little bit of a wash, but they could have done that to take a chance to pin the Chargers deep in their territory. Instead, they take it to go for the 2. I mean, that's just great coaching. And now 5.5 minutes, we got a ball game.
Trevor
And-
Lawrence is going to remember this. If they win this football game, this could literally change the dynamic of his career. The entire career, first half, if they keep that up, what happens after? That can mentally damage a quarterback. It can. We've seen it happen.
Especially one that's already damaged. You have to think that this has been a recovery year for him.
This is one of the greatest turnarounds from quarterback half to half that we've ever seen, I think.
Even if the Jaguars do not win this, I give them tremendous props for the way they handled this, because they didn't do it in the way that I expected that they would have to, with some defensive plays and turnovers. Yeah. They've had 3 possessions in the second half and scored 3 touchdowns. That's drawing to an inside straight flush. I mean, that's
so happy.
He would be.
That's the stack, ladies and gentlemen. That's a 8-yard loss.
Oh,
now you guys are speeding up here a little bit. I like it.
I am. I rebooted.
I'm just going to close mine out. You guys will keep me updated. Okay.
2nd and 17, not where the Chargers want to be.
You're making it easy on a defense with speed downhill, too. You're making it easy on them.
Man.
The screen to Eckler, maybe 4 yards.
That's way ahead now. I can't even keep up with that.
No, it's fine. It's fine. This is Matt needs to keep doing this to keep everyone involved. I'm totally okay with what.
3rd and 13 coming up for the Chargers.
Now that's gang tackling. That's what swarming defense does.
Yeah. And
I just want to see a good game. This is a good game.
I'm sorry. Do you guys just take a look at Allen here as he's throwing his hands around? Is that not early Justin Houston to you?
Josh Allen is special in my
opinion.
He's special he's the real deal.
And the Chargers have gone 3 and out.
There we go, baby. There it is.
Gosh.
4th and 5 coming up. They will be punting the ball. The Jaguars have 3:45, excuse me. And a chance to win the game.
This is amazing.
And they're going to get decent field position out of this kick. Assuming they don't muff it again. Figure I better cover my bases, because so far, everything that I said, an hour and a half ago when I came on here and said, oh, well, hey, at the second half, here's what's going to happen. Everything has been wrong.
All right. Well, I will take a moment to give my wife full credit. She did believe the Jaguars would be able to come back and win this football game. So we'll see what happens, but she gets the credit for this.
Pretty good punt for the Chargers here.
Thank you, Patrick. We appreciate hearing that. And I know it's not your normal, levity stream, and it's not your normal broadcast, but we're kind of mixing up what we do. Again, Dan and I still, in fact, Matt and I are the only two that have met in person, I believe.
Yeah, I've met Matt and Gary, but I have not met Ryan.
So me and Dan have never been in the same room. I've never been in the same room with Gary either. But this is basically what would happen if we were sitting on the couch watching the same ball game, and that's the whole concept here. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Patrick. Yes, I agree with this sentiment wholeheartedly.
3:09, 3 timeouts, starting at their own 21. And what are you talking about here? 29, at least 39, 40 yards, getting the field goal range?
Yeah.
Yeah. The
minimum.
Chargers only have 1 timeout, too. So, they have a chance to bleed the clock, too.
Yep. If they get in the field goal range, get comfortable, they can run it all the way down to the end. And the Chargers can only stop the clock twice with the 2-minute warning. No, you can't do that. That was first half Trevor right there.
Oh, jeez.
Easy now. Settle down.
Was first half, that was an interception.
Yeah, well, when the Chargers are at full charging, it's things go a little different.
Ooh. Good Lord.
I'll see it eventually, but you guys just keep me updated.
5, 4, 3, 2. You see it, Dan?
Yeah, I just saw it.
See, there we go.
At the 2-minute warning, Doug is going to need to tell Trevor to calm down. Trevor's a little juiced right now. He's getting away with it. He's getting away with it, but
so far.
He's putting a little adrenaline into the football.
Mm-hmm. We've got some experience watching that too.
Perfectly normal. It's you just got to he'll learn with time to control it. But
I'll tell you what I want for anyone who cares to send a birthday gift here that's coming next week. I want a fake Doug Pederson half visor, crazy gray hair with the telex there. That's what I'm looking for. My next Halloween. Don't throw it. Just take it. Sorry. All right, sorry. I think there's a Halloween costume in the making for Doug Pederson.
Oh, there definitely is. But I'm, even though we're not there yet, I am going to say this. This game right here, what we have seen tonight, is exactly why I said that I wouldn't want to see Jacksonville next weekend.
Mm-hmm. No, I get it.
Because they've got nothing to lose. And Doug Pederson is too good of a coach when he's got nothing to lose.
The confidence built up after this game is going to be what
it's going to be a big problem.
It's going to be a big problem. The defense, again, for Jacksonville is not a worry, in my opinion. We know that that's not a worry, but you're going to have to play extreme sound defense with Trevor Lawrence coming off of this kind of game, if that's what you end up getting.
And if the Chargers hold on to win this and they're coming to Arrowhead next weekend, that is exactly what you want, because this Chargers team is going to be completely broken despite the win.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll be taking a big sigh of relief, but they are going to be doubting themselves.
Wow. Nice catch there by Christian Kirk. I'm sure you've seen 3 plays by now, but I'm seeing it now.
I'm at 156. It is 2 in the morning.
Yeah, no, 210, 211.
Matt's already seen the conclusion of the ball game.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Hey. I mean, it's just a 2-minute warning.
I just got there.
Okay, so we're all synced up for the moment.
We're all there now.
We're on a slight delay.
I know there was a question.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, is this is a close enough ball game that you got to project that either team could still win it. I know, folks, it's not that Matt thinks they're going to win. It's just saying what are the two sides of the coin that we see now. And
right.
I agree. I still feel that the Jaguars don't possess the matchup issues. So even though they will be on a high and they will be infused with confidence, I'm still less concerned about the X's and O's matchups against them than I am if some miracle Mike Williams came back, or if Keenan Allen decided to light everything on fire like we've seen him do from time to time. I still feel like the matchups are better against the Jags. I'm guessing Matt might disagree with me. I don't know about Dan. So Matt, let's start with you.
I mean, I don't disagree that the matchups are better, but that's also assuming that the Chargers are full health. I mean, not having Mike Williams is huge. I mean, that's the biggest matchup nightmare. I mean, Keenan Allen, yeah, he's still great. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not doubting him. Mike Williams is the biggest problem for the Chiefs. That's the guy that has been the real killer. And without him, I mean, they're as I think we've seen tonight, they are not the same team. And Jacksonville, I think their defense is better than people give them credit for. I think that they can do some certain things. I think that in the right situations, they can give the Chiefs problems. And that's the thing. I mean, if the Chiefs and the Jaguars play each other, I mean, I think Chiefs probably win 80% of the time. I mean, they're that much better. But one game, Doug Pederson's a dang good coach. And he knows Andy Reid better than anybody else in the league. He knows what Andy's going to do. There's not a lot of surprises. And the problem is that the Chiefs don't have everything to lose. I mean, the Chiefs will be aggressive, but they're not going to be as aggressive play calling as Doug. Doug is going to bring everything out next week if they win this game.
Very true.
Agreed.
There's also the other side of that coin where Andy knows Doug Pederson better than just about anybody else. I would say.
It helps. It helps.
Quarterback, offensive coordinators. So I think that there's at least a little situation there, but it's this the matchup for the Chargers. I think that their defense just schematically gives the Chiefs fits. It does. They throw off timing. They really do a nice job with that. I don't know about this 4th and 1. You guys go ahead. You're way ahead of me, so I shouldn't be talking right now.
Well, since the timeout was just called. Daryl, thank you for your super chat. We appreciate it. We will have live content during the draft. Because it's in Kansas City, I plan to be in town live somewhere. So whether it's a restaurant, a bar room, my brother's basement, we'll be live streaming from somewhere. Might be simulcast on a couple of networks because I know that we'll be doing something for Locked On. We'll try to get Matt involved. We'll see if we can pry him out of his commitments. It is the draft, so he'll be located somewhere in a bunker. But we'll get something done for you, Darren. We will have coverage for the draft. Okay, Bose is not in there, huh? I like that.
That was his second.
Oh, that was his second? Is he out?
Yeah, he's not playing. He got ejected.
Oh, I didn't see him get ejected.
I didn't know that was his second. I thought it was his first incident when he took his helmet.
Maybe I'm wrong.
It out. Yeah, I thought so. I did not see an ejection from him.
What just happened?
ATN had a nice little run for a
Okay.
first down, and then some. And Matt's
Matt's
on
muted.
mute. Matt's lost his mic connection, and that's probably good because now
I muted myself, so
Okay.
Oh, fast outside.
you missed the spoiler.
Oh well, hey, it worked out well.
Wow.
That's
Damn
that.
down.
Did you see that call on 4th and 1 there? That's what Doug's going to do every single play next week.
Why don't the Chiefs do that more often?
Doug with the readers. I'm telling you, this is the
Hey.
look I'm going for.
If the Chiefs are up 21-0, they'll whip out Ring Around the Rosie or something like that for against the Jaguars. But Doug's going to run that in the first quarter.
I was with
Wow.
you, Matt, before the game. I did pick the Jaguars to win this game. So
Okay, so Dan, it looks like you were right. Mark
It is not the way I expected to get to this spot, but
absolutely not.
will I take the victory? Yes. Will I brag about it? No.
Yeah, right. I'm not going to say I had this pin to the exact. No,
No, I
but they
am
did
not
win.
gonna-
We'll
not-
see if that happens.
No, you don't need to advertise all the wins.
I mean, maybe you don't because you're a professional, but I do.
I need to point stuff out.
People
Folks,
need
if
to
you would
know.
just hold on to the chat here because I still have 3 seconds
Right.
on the clock here.
Do you want poker face or not on the field goal track?
No, I think right now is the last play of the game. You give it to us in your glory, and we'll go to the side.
Matt will lead us the rest of the way through this one, folks. So glad you're here, Matt.
I believe we're here.
Well, the Chargers are going to empty out their timeouts.
Shocker there.
So they are going to freeze the kicker.
So
Brandon Staley knows he can't take it home with him.
There you go.
I'll just say something very quickly. Right now, if this kick goes in, Brendan Staley might get fired tomorrow.
I still put faith in the Chargers being too cheap to make the move.
You're probably right, but this is
Agreed.
the worst collapse of their franchise history, maybe?
They've got a lot of it's the worst, but they've got a lot of
Poker face, Matt. Oh, tell us.
It's good.
Hey!
Let's go.
I wasn't sure or not until the officials signaled it good.
Oh,
I mean, it
and I
was
can
that
see why.
close.
There it was for me.
Flag on the play, penalty declined. Because I think the
Damn.
Chargers
That's a win,
jumped.
people.
I think the Chargers jumped over the center.
That is
Wow.
a win, folks.
So had
is
it not
official.
been good, the Chargers would have Jacksonville would have got to kick it again. But that is 31-30. Jaguars will be coming to Kansas City next weekend.
All right.
We will find out tomorrow night whether it'll be Saturday or Sunday.
can't
I am
believe
looking
this
forward to
happened.
that. Go ahead.
No, I just can't believe this happened. I mean,
Well, Dan and I told you it was going to. So
Literally told you, like the Chargers.
I had the
Jags
Jags picked
I mean, I hate to celebrate and advertise the wins, but we told you the Jags were going to win this game.
Hey guys, if you guys listen
Just
to
like
Cal
that,
Reed,
the
I've
wife
been
sums
saying
it up really well.
started, so, but
But as I have said all week long, when the gods wish to punish us, they answer our prayers. So the fact that Chiefs fans are excited the Jaguars are coming, remember the Jaguars scored 31 points
Yep.
in a row. Well, not in a row. They gave up 31-3 after being down 27-0.
I'm seeing some tweets. Brendan Staley might get fired in the tunnel. I'm not lying. It's not hyperbole when I said he very well could get fired tomorrow.
I mean, this is bad. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And like I said, I mean, I think that Lombardi is the more likely scapegoat for
Yeah,
this, and he
for
should be
sure.
the scapegoat for the entire season. But yeah, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I probably wouldn't have hired Staley in the first place, but I've seen enough. I mean, I don't think he's the guy, but
It's the minutia
the
of how you
Chargers
do it when you
don't
do it
make
and
quick
you pay.
decisions because they are a pretty cheap organization.
Oh,
Well,
this
I
is-
will say this: we understand who the opponent's going to be. The key is like this, Matt. yes, you get what you wish for. The question is, for me, again, just like this game was all about the Jaguars at every step of the way. It was not about the Chargers, in my opinion,
They
still.
almost had no
Next
impact
week-
on the game.
Right. Next week will still be 100% about the Chiefs. They need to get up, and when they do get up, they need to not fall asleep like they did against the Bengals last season. It is about them maintaining their aggression throughout this game, something we're going to talk about all week on RGR, on
Absolutely.
Locked On Chiefs, at Chiefs Digest, all over the place. That's really the key thread here, isn't it? Does anybody disagree with that thought?
No,
No,
think
this is about the Chiefs. I mean, the only thing that worries me is, like I said, I think that the Jacksonville defense is getting better. I think they're better than maybe their overall numbers say that they are. They played very well tonight. I mean, even in the first half, they had their backs up against the wall clearly and dodged some bullets. I mean, and just one stop in the first half was all they needed to be able to win this game, and they got it. So, I mean, I think there's reason to be worried, but hey, yes, the Chiefs have beaten this team before. I mean, I think they are clearly the better team. It's just going to come down to coaching and quarterback. If Mahomes plays well, doesn't turn the football over, if the Chiefs can get to Trevor Lawrence, if Andy Reid can out-coach Doug Pederson, Chiefs will win.
Absolutely. I want to see what Andy Reid does for this game against Doug Pederson. And he's got a very good record against his old staff. He does. He's very good against his old staff. And the one thing I think is going to come to fruition in this game is the addition of McCole Hardman is going to be huge for the offense. We've seen them have some problems getting the ball down the field at times. They've been injecting more deep shots down the field, but the quick passes, the screens, the wide receiver screens, they've come back into this game, the offense a little bit with Kadarius Toney, but just when they're both on the field, which they will be, I promise you, they will both be on the field. Hell, they both might be in the backfield on a play. I don't know. Maybe they absolutely could be, but you got to worry about what happens with McCole Hardman on the field. That speed is different, and I think that's going to make a huge difference. And that's why I wasn't so worried about the defense per se. Josh Allen is a problem. They're going to have a plan for him, 100%. Because if I was Doug Pederson, they would tell my defense coordinator, line him up against Orlando Brown all game, beat him off the edge every single play. That's what I would do, but we'll see.
Mark, I'm glad that you bring this up. We're not dissing anyone. The fact is that neither of those teams are going to have their starting quarterback available, and I just don't buy that the rest of those rosters can beat either of the 2 and 3 seeds in the AFC. So thanks for mentioning that. I get that. It isn't a foregone conclusion. You're correct.
Yeah.
There could be an upset tomorrow.
Mark, do not listen to him. I am completely dissing Miami and Baltimore.
To that point, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and from my estimation, had 10% chance to win this football game at halftime. They won the football game. So I won't rule anything out, but Skylar Thompson and who was the quarterback in, is it Tyler Brown or Anthony Brown in Baltimore? It's not Trevor Lawrence. So that's all I'll say.
Might be Randy Huntley, which is still not Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
But I will agree. I think, hey, saying that Jacksonville had a 10% chance to win this game at halftime, Miami and Baltimore have less than a 10% chance to win those games. That's not Ryan. That's just me. But I will continue. Those two teams have zero chance the rest of the weekend. I am 95% confident that we'll be seeing the Jaguars next weekend.
Yep, me too.
Yeah.
I feel the same. Chris Clark, you just joined the stream. About time. What do you think? Is it the Jags?
I think it has to be the Jags. Sorry, I still am dealing with the cough and didn't want to muck up everything that you guys were doing tonight. So, man, I really don't even know what to say about this. I cannot see how Staley is the coach in LA next year.
You and Dan are on the same page. Matt and I are a little skeptical. Gary's still on the fence.
Yeah, I think that I thought that if he lost the game, there's a chance he could get fired. But the Chargers have to have the finances there to be able to bring in a new head coach and probably still pay Staley the rest of his contract or whatever he is guaranteed. But losing in this fashion after this game, even if you wait a week to make your decision, this is going to fester and get worse as the week goes along. The Chargers fans that are out there are not going to be satiated until something is done, because this is really something that happened that's a fireable offense.
Absolutely.
Now,
Well, but
I mean-
this is this. Sorry, I was
Go
just going to say this is the second fireable offense he's had because the Mike Williams debacle is the first one in less than a week.
Yep.
I just cannot understand how you would keep him as your head coach at this point. You have your QB of the future in Justin Herbert, and they're using him wrong. And now you have this situation where they make the playoffs and they take the ball basically out of Herbert's hands and don't let him do what he's best at.
But remember, we're talking about the same organization and the same ownership that had Marty Schottenheimer going to AFC championship games and said, no, because you're not going to fire your brother. We're going to fire you instead. We don't want to go to the playoffs every single year and want to win 10 games. We want our way. We want to be the ones in charge. They don't make smart decisions. I mean, that's why I'll be stunned if they let him go. I mean, do they have a case to? Absolutely. I mean, this season has been a fireable offense, even though they did make the playoffs and had a double-digit win season. I mean, that's a good year. But I'm never going to be able to trust what the Chargers are going to do because the Chargers don't make rational decisions.
The last thing I really want to say is I'm just happy Kansas City doesn't have to play the Chargers because I don't like playing the same team 3 times in a row in the same year. Just don't think that's a good situation for Kansas City. I think they could beat the Chargers. Don't get me wrong, but I'm glad that they're going to be playing the Jags, and I still think that it's going to be a tough game against the Jags.
Unsung hero this ball game for me is Travis Etienne. Obviously, he had blocking, ends up with 5.5 a carry. Couple of big plays, that 4th down there down the stretch to seal up that game. That's something that I think in particular is going to fall to Nick Bolton and Willie Gay to be on top of, not to let him get hot. That's going to be one of the keys for me next week.
Yep, they have to. Like you saw when they finally started to stretch the middle of the field and ETN to the sides of the field, that's where the linebackers started to be impacted. They were getting chunk plays from ETN. They're getting chunk plays from Ingram. The Chiefs can be susceptible to that. We've seen that this season. So you have to be on point with your pursuit angles, especially with ETN. You can't let him get in front of you and miss that tackle because guess what? He's gone. He's not a between the tackles runner by any stretch, but he gets to the outside and you got a wrong angle, you're gonna be looking at his cleats running down the field. So Ingram and it comes down to Ingram and ETN on the edges in the middle of the field. That for me, that's how you prevent this offense from creating chunk plays. You keep getting them in those 3rd and long situations, and then that's when Chris Jones can go off and get his first career postseason sack.
Like Kaiser Sose, he's gone.
It's still nuts to me he doesn't have one.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
And at the same time, Frank Clark is one of the top 5 leaders all time in postseason sacks.
That's the other weird thing. What's going on?
Well, okay, but while Jones doesn't have a postseason sack, he single-handedly won them the Super Bowl in that last drive.
Yeah, he did.
But he didn't get a sack. I'm just saying he has plays that he makes. He just doesn't. I guess he just didn't get home. That's amazing to me.
Oh, I mean, hey, the two of the biggest plays in the Super Bowl against the 49ers were by Chris Jones, but they weren't the box score because it wasn't a sack, but he affects the pass and gets the interception. He set up Frank Clark for one of his sacks. I mean, that's what the guy does, but he also gets paid a dirt load of money regardless of whether or not he gets the credit for it. So it's pretty good deal. And Frank Clark was telling folks last week when I was around that he's reminding everybody that playoff Frank is here.
Good.
Let's hope so.
Playoff Frank with George is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
If playoff Frank and George show up, then Jags got a problem.
Yes, absolutely. That offensive line's not very good. I know they've got a couple decent players, but I don't think that it's all that great.
Well, there was 3 batted passes tonight, and obviously Carlos Dunlap's been on kind of a run with that, and we know what Chris Jones can do. Like, I think that's an underrated part of getting to Lawrence as well. Even though he's got the height, he does have a few balls batted out of the air that I think this team can take advantage of.
Yeah, Karlaftis can do that too.
Mm-hmm.
Fellas, I'm going to bounce. My eyes are getting a little heavy, but this was awesome. I had a good time with y'all. What a game to witness to. I just can't believe it turned out the way it did. We thought they were a Charger in some way, and that's exactly what they did. But looking forward to hopefully doing this again with everybody. This is a good time. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks for being part of it.
Thanks for being here,
Have a
Gary.
good one.
And folks, we will get to doing this again. I don't know that I have the energy to do it tomorrow, so probably hold off on that. But as you know, yeah, it's what happens. Hey, if you want to volunteer to run the thing, go ahead. We will definitely do this again. I think it's been a blast. A little insight behind the scenes into the analysis that you get is how we watch ball games. No one is as cold as ice watching a ball game as Matt Derrick is. Do not play poker with him. Even when he has the 30-second lead, it's okay. But it's definitely different to watch it live. And I think it's funny how we all come up with different observations. Matt's trained eye versus what we've done over the years, Chris. Dan's got a fresh perspective. I think that all kind of plays into this stuff. I think it's going to be interesting to see tomorrow if Matt and I are correct and it does stay the Jags, or if somebody does get that upset. Matt, you know this team better than any of us, better than most inside the locker room. Is from the guys in the locker room, do you see this as a sigh of relief, or do you think that the concept is they couldn't care less who they played? Are they happy that it's not the Chargers, or do they care?
I think that by and large, you would have probably heard from the guys that they're not concerned one way or the other. And honestly, I mean, from the coaches, I think they'd probably say that they'd rather have faced the Chargers because they'd rather face a team that they know well, that they've done their homework on, that they're prepared for. And hey, there's a benefit to the fact that they have faced the Jaguars earlier this year. So that would probably honestly be their second choice, because that's another team that they've got their scouting reports. They've done all their work. They need to go back and watch the film of what's happened since then to see what they're doing. I mean, they were all watching this game tonight, obviously. But I mean, I think by and large, the players would tell you, and I think they would be honest when they tell you that they don't care. I mean, they just want to play. They're ready for whoever it's going to be. There might be some that either do or don't want to play Tyreek and the Dolphins. I mean, there's probably some of that going around, and I think that would be a circus if it was the Dolphins. So, I think that at that level with those players, I mean, they feel like that they need to respect any opponent. So they don't want to get in this lot, and Andy Reid will not let them get into the mindset of being happy that there's one team over another, because once as a player you get to the idea that you're glad you're playing somebody and not somebody else, you're gonna be in trouble.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment. I like that one.
I think really quick.
Go ahead.
Can I ask you a question? Because I wasn't on the live stream, so I didn't get to see it. What did you think of Doug Pederson's choice to go for 2 instead of kicking the extra point after they'd already missed the first 2-point conversion? Because I thought that was really interesting, and obviously it set him up for the win at the end of the game. But the Chargers also missed a field goal. I think the Jaguars were ready to go down and score a touchdown regardless, but I just was curious your opinions.
I mean, I'm not sure that they do it if they don't get the penalty that got them to move the ball to a 1. I mean, that changes the equation dramatically to me. So I don't know. Maybe they would have gone for it anyway. I thought it was. I mean, that's the decision making that I keep saying. I would not want to see if I'm a Chiefs fan next weekend, because Doug's going to call an entire game like that next week because he's playing with found money. And that's a dangerous team to face when you got a team like that. So,
well, and watch out for onside kicks. They've done that before as well.
Watch out for everything. Doug's gonna empty the playbook next week.
He will empty it out.
Yep.
I do think that by the play call on the 1 yard line, that was more that tells you their decision was because of the penalty. If there was a different play, they'd probably run it anyway. They had one designed for it, but the sneak and the dunk that Trevor Lawrence had kind of tells me at least that they were only going to go for it in that situation. They had it on the 1 yard line. So, and really, when you think about it, if they kick the field goal, then make the extra point originally in the first one that they missed, kick the extra point there, ends up the same way. So when you're going for 2 points all the time and you get half of them, guess what? It looks the same anyway.
I say go for it every time at that point. A take advantage of the momentum that we built, and B, just make up those points.
Oh, Ryan.
Oh, is it again? All right. Well, enjoy chatting amongst yourselves.
I don't know what happened, man. I don't know what happened.
Ryan and the mic has had a rough night.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but this was honestly, I don't really recall outside of the Chiefs comeback against the Texans. This was one of the crazier games, and this one came down to the wire. They blew the Texans out of that game. So getting to watch this really Matt got to watch all the good stuff. He came in at the halftime and then he watched the Jaguars.
I watched this game the perfect way because that sounds like the first half was a complete and total bore.
Yeah, we were having, we were talking about what we were going to end up talking about at the second half, and then here come the Jaguars. So if you guys want to watch football, do it with Matt. Matt clearly understands how to watch football and timing of all of those things.
I watched this game. It was to me it was 31-3 because that was all the scoring I saw.
It was. Do either of you have any thoughts on specifically what the defensive game plan might be to stop Trevor Lawrence? Because after you see that kind of a showcase in the second half, it's not just the offense, it's not just scheming guys open, even though there was a couple of guys running wide open down the field. What do you think the Chiefs need to do to stop Trevor Lawrence that maybe is a little different than what Spags typically does? You think he goes with the continuing to have L'Jarius Sneed follow guys around?
I mean, I think there's a possibility. I mean, to me, I don't know that I really feel like with the Jacksonville's receivers, whether it's Kirk, Jones, Ingram, whomever it may be, I don't know if you would just necessarily say that there's one that's more dominant than the other that you have to put Sneed on. To me, it's probably a little bit about who do you want to protect? Who do you want Jalen Watson going up to in nickel coverage? That's really going to be the question to me about, who do you want to isolate? What kind of a matchup do you want there? I mean, I think you'll see, Spags with a pretty traditional game plan, because I think that the key to the stopping the Jaguars, I think, is pretty simple. I mean, you don't let them get the run established, and you make Trevor Lawrence uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And how do you do that with Trevor Lawrence? Well, you mix up with a lot of different blitzes, show him some looks that he hasn't seen, Absolutely. Bring pressure from different directions. And I mean, that's classic Steve Spagnuolo. So I'd be really surprised if he does anything out of character. I'd expect that to be kind of his concept. We'll see, but I mean, I think that's, even though I do say I'm worried about the Jaguars because I worry about Doug Pederson and I worry about what kind of a performance he can get out of his quarterback, and I do worry that defense is improving. The other part of it is that, this is still a young team on the Jacksonville side. They're inexperienced. They don't have a lot of chemistry together. They're still a growing and building team. And if you can make them uncomfortable, they'll make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
I think the big thing to me, looking at what happened in this game, the big thing to me is the Chargers showed you early on, if you show him man and you get to zone, you can make him make mistakes. I think that could be a key in this game. But the other thing that I think is going to be very interesting to watch is how do the refs let these defenders play? Because they absolutely let them play in the first half. And there was several times where there should have been penalties that weren't called penalties. Lawrence's second interception, the guy basically had his hands all over Zay Jones, and that's pass interference. Didn't call it. If they're going to let him play like that, the Chiefs' corners are going to have a lot of fun in that game.
Absolutely. I really think that what we've seen specifically from Jalen Watson lately, game against the Raiders, where he was all over Devontae Adams a couple of times, really noticed the physicality. They're getting ready for the postseason. We've seen over the last few seasons in the playoffs where it's not going to get called. So I think they're gearing up for this kind of a postseason run where they can be more physical, and that plays right into their strengths as a corner group, in my opinion.
There's absolutely no doubt. I mean, the Chiefs and their corners, they want to play physical, and if they're going to call it tight, not tight, and they're going to let them play and challenge, then that will help out. But we've also seen it go the other way, and so
very true.
Just never know what you're going to get sometimes. Just cross your fingers on which the officiating crew that is.
Very true. Very true. Are we back, Ryan? Are you back?
Autobots unite. I have no idea.
I hear you better.
Okay.
I hear you, but you have no video. Oh, look, there he is.
Oh, well, you don't need the video. That I have a voice for radio, remember?
Yeah, well.
This is how it works. No, and I have no idea how long it's going to last. So I think final takeaways, and then we'll kind of wrap it up for tonight. But is there any concern about what we saw here, Matt? I'll start with you. That it really has to change anything that we might have thought the Chiefs were already preparing for?
I certainly don't think that it largely does. I mean, I think that the game plan, like I was telling him earlier, as far as what Spags is going to do, I mean, I think Spagnola's going to do what he does. And I think that his concepts and what he likes to do matches it pretty well against Jacksonville. I mean, they're going to just need to show, Trevor Lawrence some different looks, bring pressure from some different places, keep him confused because he's a young quarterback. And if you do that and you keep him off stride, you stop the run, you don't let anything get established. I mean, it's an ABC game plan. You just have to execute it well. Offensively, I think that's where the Chiefs and getting their full speed back on offense is going to be the difference between this and the last time around, because, Jacksonville hasn't seen the Kadarius Toney, Mecole Hardman. None of us have seen the Kadarius Toney, Mecole Hardman matchup. And if you've got him, if Sky Moore is healthy, if that hands is enough that he can get in there too, and you've got your full complement of wide receivers for the first time, then offensively you can put some things out there that are unscripted and unscouted that teams haven't seen before. So to me, I'm really intrigued just to see how the Chiefs attack it offensively. But I think you do have to do exactly what the Chargers did tonight, which is jump out on top of Jacksonville early and make sure they never get going and keep the pedal down. Mm-hmm. You can't get conservative. Once you get a big lead, you just make them go away.
Really quick, man, I just have to ask Matt a quick question. Do you think Clyde is back this week?
I would be surprised because he hasn't been activated. So at this point, he hasn't even practiced at all. I think that, once they get him back, if they get him back, I think they wanted him to have more than a handful of practices under his belt. Right now, they're pretty happy. And honestly, I mean, there's only one football to go around, and there's barely enough footballs for the three guys that they have. So unless there is any injury of any sort this week, I mean, there would be no reason not to activate Clyde this week and bring him back to practice if he's able to go, because you can open up the practice window and bring him back at any time if you need him. But no, I think at this point, I think the die is cast. I think it'll be the three guys that are on the roster right now.
Chris, further thoughts about what has to happen this week, anything different, or what you're looking for tomorrow that changes anything preparation-wise?
No, I don't think that there's anything that changes things preparation-wise. I think that Andy Reid is going to know exactly what he's going to want to do in the first couple of series, and I think that's going to be very telling. And I do, we've talked, I think it's going to be the Jaguars. I don't think that we're going to see another upset tomorrow. So I think he's going to attack. I think he's going to show the entire NFL, not just the Jaguars. I think he's going to show the entire NFL what speed can do, both laterally and vertically, with Hardman and
that guy
Toney back. Yeah, sorry, brain fart. With the Hardman and Toney back on the offense, I think you're going to see a lot of speed used in this game in a lot of different ways that they haven't been able to, like you said, Matt. And I think that that's going to be something that's going to be a lot of fun for Andy Reid to scheme up, and then that's going to open up things for everybody else. Juju and Travis Kelce and MBS and Sky Moore and all those guys.
I have to agree. If there's one upset that you're hoping for more, Dan, what is it tomorrow?
I think, well, I don't necessarily hope for upsets. I want to see good football tomorrow. I want to see good football teams play. And the Baltimore Ravens, I don't think are a good football team. I don't. I think that Miami, even with Skylar Thompson, because Mike McDaniel is, I believe, one of the best young play callers in the NFL, maybe already a top 3 play caller in the NFL, I want to see Miami give Buffalo a fight, because I think that the talent that they have in Miami, they have a good team. Obviously, third-string quarterback, you can't really prevent. You can't really. I mean, we'll get into what you can and can't prevent if you don't let a quarterback go out back on the field with a concussion. But you're down to your third-string guy now. But I would not, just like Doug Pederson, like Matt's been talking about, he's going to bring the bag out. Mike McDaniel is going to empty the bag. You're going to, I promise you right now, you're going to see Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle lining up in places you never saw them at all this season. The ball is going to go there. They're going to do so many different things. Tyreek might even throw the football. I don't know. There's going to be a lot of different. There's going to be a lot of different things. I think that Miami has to play the best defensive game they've played to this season to even be close in this game. So I want to see Miami play well, because I think that they're actually outside of the quarterback position right now, they're a good team. And I don't think Baltimore is.
That's fair. Folks, we'll wrap it up. Go ahead.
I just want to say, interesting. It doesn't look like there's going to be snow on the ground. It's going to be cold, but no snow.
Mm-hmm.
That really could help Miami a little bit more than I would have thought. Going into Buffalo with the cold weather and snow, I really didn't like that matchup with the way Miami plays.
Yeah, traction's the key, especially for speed. And I like Waddle, like him a lot in that matchup. I underneath, I think is where they're going to be able to make some hay. We're going to be watching that game. I think individually, it's a family day for me, so I won't be watching at home. But as the day wraps up, you're still going to get a live stream from me tomorrow night. I won't ask the guys to jump in there because it probably will be a bit shorter. We will have the live Q&A when we know the opponent on Monday night. So join us both times. If you're new, a whole lot of folks have joined since the ball game finished. Make sure you get subbed and you hit that like too, because we'll be covering the entire playoffs, specifically about the Chiefs and how those matchups work. To everybody tonight, for Chris Clark joining, after he got his, hero game watching in. I like that. Thanks for joining us after the fact, Chris. For Matt, giving us the real deal from the real eyes, that a little bit of preview, a little bit of self-control. I like that. And Dan for locking everything down when I can't even be here to speak correctly. Thank you from all of us. Thanks for enjoying this game with us. We appreciate your time and all your super chats. Everybody who joined tonight, all you new members, I saw a bunch of you tonight. Cheers. We'll be back tomorrow to wrap it up. Look for the Sunday breakdown, maybe a little bit later than normal. We'll see when it comes down. And if I have to twist some arms, maybe we'll get the guys back. So thanks for joining us on this one-off, and we'll catch you tomorrow.